Once the fire is passed, use your water supplies to put out spot fires and listen to local radio. The fire is travelling in an easterly direction towards Baird, Oaks Estate, West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. This is at an emergency level. This fire has crossed the Molonglo River near Baird and the fire is currently out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under current conditions, this fire is difficult to control. Please keep up to date. Keep your radio tuned to ABC Local Radio Canberra. Check the ESA website, esa.act.gov.au. You can also follow their social media channels, the ESA Twitter account and also Facebook. You can also download and monitor the New South Wales RFS Fires Near Me mobile app. You can also stay tuned to your local ABC radio. Just know too, if you are not in the area, the main advice here is please do not enter the area. There are also a number of road closures around the area, but you don't need to travel in that area. Please don't do it. We also need to let you know about another fire that's burning in the area that has a watch and act level. But before we do that, we might check out the situation just outside our border. There's another emergency warning, Paula.
Yeah, thanks for that, Georgia. Just looking at, according to the RFS, we do have emergency warnings in our area. I'm talking about the Adaminaby complex bushfire. So the current situation there is that fire activity is increasing. There are strong northwesterly winds are being experienced and the fire is spreading quickly towards the area of Adaminaby and the fire may reach Adaminaby area this afternoon. If you need ongoing coverage of that, you'll hear it on ABC Radio Southeast. There's also an emergency level warning for Big Jack Mountain, so that's in the Bega Valley area, and a watch and act for Clyde Mountain. And so the bushfire burning in the Clyde Mountain area south of the Kings Highway, and it's more than 84,000 hectares. The current situation there is the fire has been burning on the southern side of the Kings Highway.
Yeah, so obviously the situation at the moment, as people are probably aware of, we've been warning you for a couple of days on ABC Radio Canberra about the winds. There are some pretty heavy winds out there and that is causing a lot of issues with fires in and around our region. The other one you need to know about if you are within the ACT is a Watch and Act. Now, this is for Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park. This is a Watch and Act level bushfire warning. Now, you need to keep up to date if you're in this region and to decide what actions you will take because the bushfire conditions are changing. The ACT Emergency Agency, the ESA, advises that people in Pialigo, Brindabella Business Park and surrounding areas could be affected by a bushfire in Callaroo Road, Pialigo. Conditions are changing and could get worse. You need to be ready to follow your bushfire survival plan. If you do not have a plan, you should start preparing now because the situation could get worse. There are no properties under threat at this time, but you can call 000 immediately if you or your property is under threat. We spoke earlier to Pialigo Estate and they said the situation there obviously had gotten a little bit better than what it had previously. But as this warning from the ESA is saying, the situation is continually changing. Also be aware too, if you have friends or relatives coming in and out of Canberra Airport or you yourself have a flight, that we understand that flights had been cancelled. The best thing you can do though in that situation is really to go online because that situation may keep changing as well and just double check with your carrier about what's happening with your flights. You're listening to ABC Local Radio. I'm Georgia Steins in the studio with Paula Kruger.
So just looking at what roads are closed, the Oaks Estate Road remains closed and there's some roads closed around the Canberra Airport area. Queanbeyan Showground is open for evacuations though. Let's find out what's actually happening at Canberra Airport. We understand that the flights have been cancelled. With you now is Jordan. Jordan, how are things there? Is it a bit chaotic or calm?
A little bit of a mix of both. Bit of chaos surrounding whether or not the flights are cancelled. We know that's pretty set in stone now, so people are just kind of milling around and finding a way to get out. So at the moment, the roads in seem to be closed. Anyone who has a car here has managed to get out, but there's about 50 of us standing outside waiting for a bus, and we're not sure if it's coming or not. They said they were going to shuttle us to the city, but it's not confirmed just yet.
Jordan, were you heading out somewhere, or where were you going?
I was going to Melbourne from Canberra, but it looks like that won't happen today.
So it's a changing situation? They've just got you all in one area and you're waiting to find out exactly what's happening?
They kind of just advise people to stay put, and a lot of the staff and police are walking around and updating people as they go, which is really nice. So there's a few of us outside. It's not too smoky, so we're waiting for a bus to come pick us up.
I hope you're getting a free coffee or something, Jordan. What can you see if you're outside at the moment? What's the sky like and the smell?
I mean, it was already really dusty from the dust storm and the wind earlier, so not much has changed there. When we were in the airport looking out the window, we could see the full front of the fire, and the smoke was kind of getting bigger and bigger, so that was a little bit intimidating, but it's kind of much the same out the front. Just kind of looking over at the hotel, and sky's pretty dusty, a bit ominous, but we feel relatively safe.
It's good to hear that you're feeling relatively safe. What's the mood among people out there, Jordan?
A little bit of unease. I think it's been a difficult few months in Canberra with all the smoke and fire and stuff, so to have the last 2 days these incidents happen, it's put people a bit on edge, but as I said, the staff here are being really communicative, so we don't have too much to worry about at the moment.
Thanks so much, Jordan. That's Jordan. He's out at the airport, not going to Melbourne, which was his earlier plan. But he's there, as he mentioned, with a handful of people outside the airport waiting. So from what he just explained to us there, you can't actually get in or out the airport. So if you are someone who was either picking up a relative or perhaps you were travelling, the best bet for you to do is probably just to check the website, check the Canberra Airport website, but also to check whichever carrier you were using to find out exactly what's happening. Look, if you have just joined us and you're wondering what's happening, I'm Georgia Steins. I'm in the studio with Paula Kruger. This is a bushfire emergency coverage. We do need to let you know, though, too, about those bushfires that are burning in our region. But we also want to hear from you. So if you're able to tell us something, tell us what you can see, what's happened for you today. If you are someone in one of these areas that's been affected, 1300 681 666. That's the phone, or you can call us on 0467 922 666. We'd really love to hear from you.
And let's find out how the roads are looking. Stuart from Queanbeyon's been out on the road. What have you seen, Stuart?
Yes, hello, good afternoon. I'm travelling towards Woden, and the Canberra Avenue is open travelling west, but they've closed the road at DFO to traffic going into Queanbeyan. So Canberra Avenue is closed at DFO.
So they obviously don't want people travelling back towards that, which is consistent with the advice.
Exactly. The fire is, as you're driving, you look north, you can see the fire quite close to Canberra Avenue.
What's the visibility like?
Pretty ordinary. It's getting better now because I'm out of it and I'm on Hindmarsh Drive travelling towards Woden. But I just want to let you know that the traffic on Hindmarsh is really banking up because they can't turn into Canberra Avenue and go towards Queanbeyan.
Thanks for that.
A lot of traffic also is doing U-turns and coming through the median strip and coming back and travelling off other ways. I'm sure that the traffic. I'm sure the Monero Highway is open, so it'd be better to go to Queanbeyan via the Monero Highway and coming through Jerrabomba than it would be to, Canberra Avenue's closed.
We appreciate you telling us what you've seen, Stuart. That's Stuart from Queanbeyan giving us a call on 1300 681 666. If there's something that you've seen out there and it's safe for you to contact us, you can call me here, myself and Georgia Stein here at ABC Radio Canberra on 1300 681 666, or send us a text on 0467 922 666. You're on ABC Radio Canberra. Let's update you on the emergency warnings regarding fires in our area.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
As you have just heard there is an emergency warning current. Now, this is for people in Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan. This is an emergency warning level warning. Now, we need you to seek shelter immediately if you're in these areas. It's now too late for you to leave. If you're not in the area, do not return. A bushfire is approaching Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People living in these suburbs are in danger and they need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous. It's also potentially deadly. People in streets north of Uriara Road should leave now towards David Campese Oval if it's safe to do so. If you're not currently in the affected area, do not leave the area. Fire crews may not be able to protect you and your property. Do not expect a firefighter at your door. Seek shelter now. People in the area will be affected by thick smoke and embers, which will reduce visibility and air quality. As the fire approaches, it will be difficult for you to see, to hear and to breathe. You will experience intense heat, darkness and loud noise. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. Other things you should do: switch off the gas and air conditioning, close windows and doors, seal the gaps under doors and screens with wet towels to keep smoke out of the house. Fill containers such as your bath, sinks and buckets with water. Then you will have access to drinking and firefighting water. Identify a safe spot to shelter in, which should be a place with more than one exit away from windows and doors. The safest spot is the place that will keep you furthest away from the intense heat from the fire. Be aware of the location of the fire as it passes your house. Once the fire has passed, use your water supplies to put out spot fires. The fire is currently travelling in an easterly direction towards Baird, Oaks Estate, West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. This fire has crossed the Molonglo River near Baird. The fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under current conditions, this fire is difficult to control. How to keep up to date? Keep your radio tuned exactly where it is on ABC Local Radio Canberra. Make sure you keep up to date with all your social media channels like the ABC Facebook page, also the ESA Facebook and ESA Twitter. You should also download and monitor the New South Wales RFS Fires Near Me mobile app. Stay tuned to your local radio station. Just a word on roads as well. There are a number of roads that are closed. People are ringing in with traffic reports in regards to what roads are open and closed, Paula. But we just want to remind people this is a very changing situation. So if you don't need to be in the area, please do not travel in those areas. And obviously there will be changing conditions in terms of roads either closing or reopening. We'll try and keep on top of all that for you, but obviously it is a bit of an evolving situation. Now, that's not the only fire warning, unfortunately, in the Canberra region. I also want to let you know about a Watch and Act one. Now, this is a Watch and Act in Callaroo Road. This is a Pialigo fire. It is still at a Watch and Act, although we understand the situation has slightly improved, but wind is making the situation today, it's changing quite often. So this is a Watch and Act currently. This is Watch and Act level bushfire warning. The advice from the ESA regarding this fire in Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park is that you need to keep up to date and decide what actions you will take because these bushfire conditions are constantly changing. Now, the ACT Emergency Services advises that people in Pialigo, in Brindabella Business Park and the surrounding areas could be affected by a bushfire. Now, that's in Callaroo Road, Pialigo. Conditions are changing and it could get worse. You need to be ready. You need to be ready to follow your bushfire survival plan. You need to have your bushfire survival plan in place. If you do not have a plan, you should start preparing now because the situation could get worse. No properties are currently under threat right now, but the situation is changing. Call 000 immediately if you or your property are under threat. You should also begin your preparations. Do not wait to see a firefighter at your door or signs of fire to act. You need to begin your preparations if you are in this area. Activate your bushfire survival plan now if you have one. If you do not, you need to get one together. You can go to the ESA.act.gov.au also for regular bushfire updates and keep listening to ABC Radio Canberra. That fire is travelling in a southeasterly direction. That's travelling towards Pialigo Avenue. At the moment, that fire is at Watch and Act. But the fire is out of control and firefighters are currently on the scene. Under current weather conditions, the fire is very difficult to control.
Thanks for that, Georgia. Let's find out a bit more about those weather conditions here on ABC Radio Canberra. With you right now is David Wilkie. He joins us again. He is a senior duty forecaster with the Weather Bureau. Good afternoon again, David. Are there any updates on the weather situation out there?
Good afternoon. Yeah, we're seeing conditions remaining very windy, so Canberra Airport gusting 74 kilometres an hour still, and temperatures sitting generally in the low to mid-30s. It's hit 34 degrees at Canberra. That's about the maximum that we're expecting today. Looking at the very most recent temperature, it looks like around that region, sitting hovering between about 30 and 34. So I think we've hit about our maximum. It might go just a touch over, but probably about our maximum. In terms of the winds, we can expect these winds to remain gusty and strong from the northwest for at least the next few hours. But they're probably on an easing trend as we head into the later afternoon. So important to know there's no really significant change moving through. Might see the winds beginning to turn more to the west as the day progresses into the evening, but generally it would just be this easing as we hit the mid to late afternoon.
We'll keep a close eye on that, David.
David, too, also, it's Georgia here. Just checking, do we have an idea of what these wind speeds have been today? Where's had the worst wind? Do we have a sense of that yet?
Yeah, so we have a number of observations that have been fairly significant. So Cooma and Bombala have both had gusts around about 96 kilometres an hour, so very, very gusty down there. It's also been very gusty around Mount Janini, so sitting a bit over, so the exact number I've just lost, but it's been very gusty through Mount Janini. It's also been very gusty along the coast, so we've seen gusts of about 40 kilometres an hour through places like Maria and Bega, and it's getting quite gusty as well in Sydney. So this really is a feature of the whole of the southeast and New South Wales and ACT.
David, I've got a feeling we'll be chatting to you a bit over the next little while, or one of your colleagues. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's David Wilkie, he's a senior forecaster for the Weather Bureau. If you have just tuned into ABC Radio Canberra, my name's Georgia Steins. I'm here with Paula Kruger. We're keeping you up to date and also keeping you company this afternoon because there are some bushfires impacting the area in the ACT and some not great weather out there. As we've heard there, some wind gusts around 96 just outside of the ACT or outside our region. If you do want to let us know something, perhaps something has happened near where you are, you're near one of the fires or you can't get back to your home, you either want us to ask a question for you of the authorities, we'd love to do that, or you just want to let us know, maybe you just want to chat, 0467 922 666 or 1300 681 661 Queanbeyan Showground is open for evacuations. That's the information we have at the moment. If you are someone with animals, we will double check that information if that's also open for people who have animals as well, or if that's just for people. So we'll find that information out for you as soon as we can. Repeating too, though, that Oaks Estate Road remains closed. Some roads are closed around Canberra Airport. The latest advice we had is that all flights were closed and that people can't get into the airport. People who are there are being ferried out on buses. That's the situation at the moment. But as we've said, this is constantly changing. If you don't already follow ABC on Facebook and Twitter, this is a great time to do it. Our colleagues are doing a great job of keeping those warnings up to date, so you can have them as well. But I should also let you know about a couple of the bushfires that are burning at the moment in our region, as well as one that is burning just over the border into New South Wales. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra. I'm Georgia Steins. Now, in terms of a watch and act, that's the Callaroo Road fire. Now, that's the Pialigo fire. That is at a watch and act. That has improved slightly, but this is a never-changing situation. If you're in that area, the advice is still the same, that you need to keep up to date, and you also need to have in your mind what actions you will take if the condition changes and that fire escalates. You need to be ready to follow your bushfire survival plan. If you do not have a plan, you should start preparing now because the situation could get worse. And you need to call 000 immediately if you or your property is under threat. So that is that one there is the Callaroo Road Pialigo fire. That is the situation for that fire. But we do also have one just outside our borders in the ACT, and this is at emergency level. This is the Adamimini Complex fire. And Paula, do you have a bit more information on that one?
Yeah, the current information we have from there, Georgia, is that fire activity is increasing. There's a strong northwesterly wind happening there. It's being the fire is spreading quickly towards the Adaminibi area, and it may reach Adaminibi area this afternoon. So if you need ongoing coverage of that particular fire, you can tune in to our colleagues at ABC Radio Southeast. If there's anything you've seen here in the ACT that you think may be of use with regards to these fires, you can give me a call on 1300 681 666 or send a text on 0467 922 666. Margaret sent us a text saying there has been a multi-vehicle accident on the Federal Highway, and that's near Collector. So the emergency services are on the scene. There's low visibility, and Hindmarsh Drive and Yamba Drive at Canberra Hospital, traffic lights are out there. Thanks for letting us know about that, Stuart. Now, we've got Natalie from Queanbeyan on the phone. Natalie, good afternoon. Thanks for calling in. Where exactly are you?
Oh, good afternoon. I'm currently on the Monaro, but I was trying to get out of Queanbeyan into Canberra, and I got stopped by a lovely police officer directing traffic, the road closure on Canberra Avenue at Gilmore Road, just near the railway line crossing as you're leaving Queanbeyan. So what your earlier caller said about being closed between DFO and Canberra Ave and on Canberra Ave to Queanbeyan seems to be correct. The police officer I was speaking to at those traffic lights, he suggested I go via Lanyon Drive through to Jerrabombra to get onto the Monaro that way to get into Canberra, because I'm actually trying to pick up my daughter from a childcare centre, and they're not evacuating, but they are suggesting that parents come and pick up their children.
Right, so what's the scene like? Is it confusing? I mean, you mentioned that you had a nice, calm policeman there, but is there much confusion in the area?
Oh, definitely. There was only the one police officer at the traffic lights, and obviously you've got traffic from three directions trying to get out of Queanbeyan onto Canberra Ave. So they were just turning everybody around and suggesting to go Lanyon Drive. But it was chaos, bumper-to-bumper traffic on Lanyon Drive. It took me at least 10 minutes to get down to Jerrabombra. So people are definitely taking your warning seriously about leaving Queanbeyan. And traffic on the Monaro at the moment is pretty much bumper-to-bumper southbound as well. Northbound's not so bad if you're heading towards Canberra, but as you're leaving, the Monaro is very, very heavy all the way down to the McConaughey.
Thanks for your update, Natalie. That's Natalie from Queanbeyan, who has given us a call on 1300 681 666. You're on ABC Radio Canberra with me, Paula Kruger, and my colleague Georgia Steins. Georgia is just going to give you an update of the emergency information you need to know about bushfires in our area.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
Now, this is for people listening in the Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan areas. This is an emergency warning level. You need to seek shelter immediately. It is now too late to leave. If you're not in the area, do not return. A bushfire is approaching Baird, Oaks Estate, West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous. It's also potentially deadly. People in streets north of Yuri Arrow Road should leave now towards David Campuzzi Oval if safe to do so. If you're not currently in the affected area, do not enter the area. Fire crews may not be able to protect you and your property. Do not expect a firefighter at your door. Seek shelter now. People in the area will be affected by thick smoke and embers. That will reduce visibility and also air quality. As the fire approaches, it will be difficult for you to see, to hear and to breathe. You will experience intense heat, darkness and loud noise. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. Other things you should do: switch off the gas and the air conditioning. Close windows and doors, sealing the gaps under the doors and screens with wet towels to keep smoke out of the house. Fill containers such as your bath, your sinks and buckets with water so you have access to drinking and firefighting water. Identify a safe spot to shelter in, which should be a place with more than one exit away from windows and doors. Now, the safest spot is the place that will keep you furthest away from the intense heat from the fire. Be aware of the location of the fire as it passes your house. Once the fire is passed, use your water supplies to put out the fires. Listen to local radio. Now, this fire is travelling in an easterly direction. Now, this is toward Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. The fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under current conditions, the fire is difficult to control. Keep up to date. Check the ESA website. That's esa.act.gov.au. Follow the ESA Twitter account and Facebook account. You can also follow ABC. We're putting up all the warnings on our Facebook page, so you can keep up to date that way. And also, please listen keep your radio tuned right now to ABC Local Radio. Paula and I will be keeping you up to date. We will give you the next update as soon as we have it. It's also good to know there are a number of road closures in place. What is the latest info we've got?
Before we go to the road closures, let's quickly catch up with Andrew Messenger in the newsroom with the latest news headlines. Good afternoon, Andy.
Thanks, Paula. So to sum up the local fire situation, the Pialago Redwood Forest Fire that started yesterday is now at an emergency level. Police living in Beard, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan areas have been advised it's too late to leave. Canberra Airport has been closed to arrivals and departures, and several roads in that area have been closed. Interstate, the Adaminimi Complex fire is back at emergency level, as is the Clyde Mountain Fire south of the Kings Highway and west of Maruya, and the Badger Forest Fire inland from Narooma is also at emergency level. Our rolling coverage will continue shortly, and there's full online details at news.abc.net.au. In other news, pressure is mounting on charities to end the delays and hand over all their donations to the bushfire victims. The unemployment rate decreased to 5.1% in December after 29,000 jobs were added, mostly part-time positions, and the Foreign Affairs Department is warning Australians to reconsider their need to travel to Wuhan in China after the outbreak of the deadly coronavirus. To the weather, total fire ban and damaging wind alerts are both current. Canberra's were forecast is for a windy day with dust haze and the chance of a shower or storm. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and 29. Saturday, mostly sunny and 31. Winds in Canberra at the moment currently gusting at 65 kilometres an hour. They peaked at over 80 kilometres an hour earlier today. Our top was 35, at the moment 32. More ABC News at 2 o'clock.
And we'll catch you at 2 o'clock. Thanks so much for that, Andrew Messenger. Andrew Messenger, who is in the newsroom, also bringing you information as far as these emergency fires go in that area. You're on ABC Radio Canberra. My name is Paula Kruger, and with my colleague Georgia Steins, we'll be bringing you updates of the fire situation. The Oaks, as far as roads go, the Oaks Estate Road remains closed, and some roads are closed around Canberra Airport. There are also reports of lights out at major roads around Pialago and Canberra Airport. Queanbeyan Showground is open for evacuations. And right now, let's go over to Daniel. Daniel's been on the Hume Highway. Good afternoon, Daniel. What's going on there?
Yeah, just got out of Canberra about an hour ago and heading back home towards Sydney. About 15 minutes south of Goulburn. There's been, I'd say, at least 10-car accident. Seems like everyone's kind of at the back of each other, spread out. So at the time, there was a couple of police there and a lot more coming through, and I'm not sure what they're going to be doing about the road, but yeah, there was cars kind of still in the left lane, left emergency lane, and then also on the right, kind of in the middle there. Right.
So how many cars do you think were involved, Daniel?
Oh, I'd say it was at least 10.
Right. And what's the visibility like? Was that an issue, do you think?
Oh, definitely. It seems to it come in patches where it seems to be clear for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it just hits you, and it's like down to probably 50 metres or so. And then you kind of obviously slow down hazards, and then it seems to clear up again. So yeah, just use caution because it's definitely kind of coming and going.
Yeah.
There.
Where are you headed, Daniel?
Heading back home towards Mittagong.
Okay, so it's going to be a slow drive for you, do you think? Best thing to do in the situation?
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for all the updates.
Well, look, appreciate you updating us as well, Daniel. That is Daniel, who's on the Hume Highway, who says he's halfway between Canberra and Goulburn. There's been a car accident. He says there's about 10 cars involved. When he went by, they were still on the left-hand side of the road. If there's anything that you think we should know about out there on the roads, you can let me and Georgia know on 1300 681 666, or you can send a text on 0467 922 666.
It's probably a good time too to remind people, besides obviously that big road that it's having issues there as well, but just the bushfire that's in and around our region is impacting a number of roads. Now, Oaks Estate Road, that remains closed. Canberra Avenue, though, is probably a big one for many people. It's currently closed in both directions. Now, that's near the DFO. That's the advice we've got. Around High Mast Drive, in and around there, we're also told that some roads are closed around the Canberra Airport. Also reports of lights out at major roads around Pialago and the Canberra Airport. Now, this is constantly changing. We've been trying to get onto ACT Police, but they're obviously incredibly busy at the moment because the situation is constantly changing. But The best bet, though, too, is not to travel in and around those areas, in and around Pialigo or in and around near Queanbeyan or those areas, particularly not into those areas, because ESA is asking people not to go there. And if you are coming out, obviously, to take care as well. But the situation in terms of roads is constantly changing. So we're trying to keep on top of it for you, and we're doing our best. You can also let us know, though, 0467 922 666, 1300 681 666. Probably good to be reminded, though, that in a situation like this, Paul, roads can shut and reopen pretty quickly as well. But if you're wondering what's happening bushfire-wise, in our region proper, there are two emergency, in around the ACT, I should say, there are two warnings at the moment. One's an emergency warning. Now, that's for Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan. And then we've got a watch and act. Now, that's for Callaroo Road, Pialigo Fire, and that's a watch and act there.
Right, now let's find out who else is out on the road. Zach from Queanbeyan has just left the airport. Zach, you were disappointed with a cancelled flight.
Yes, I am. I was meant to catch a flight from Canberra to Sydney to Auckland, and yes, the airport's closed, so my wife was dropping me off before she went to work, and I've ended up dropping her off at work in Woden. She's a nurse at the hospital, and I've just come off High Marsh Drive onto Monaro Highway, and now I'm on Lanyon Drive on my way to Jerrabomberra to get back home.
So what was the traffic like, Zach? Sounds like you had to cover a bit of ground there.
Yeah, it's quite hectic. It took us a while to get away from the airport. I was hoping, I was actually hoping that I didn't have to fly because the wind was bad enough, and I couldn't imagine sitting in the airplane with the winds the way that they are.
And here's hoping things are a bit better for you now, Zach. We appreciate you giving us a call. That's Zach in Queanbeyan, who, a bit disappointed about not catching a flight, but he says that things were a bit crazy out there, and the visibility isn't helping. You're on ABC Radio Canberra. I'm Paula Kruger, and with you is Georgia Steins as well. And we're bringing you the latest information we have as far as the emergency fires in our region go. And Georgia's just going to give you the latest information now.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
So these are for fires burning in and around Canberra. In a moment, I'll talk to you about the Watch and Act that's currently in place for the Callaroo Road Pialigo fire. So that's a Watch and Act. But before we do that, though, we're going to get the latest information regarding the fire in Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan. This fire is still at an emergency warning level. For this fire, you need to seek shelter immediately if you're in the affected area. It's now too late for you to leave. If you're not in the area, do not return. A bushfire is approaching Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and they need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous. It's also potentially deadly. People in streets north of Uriara Road should leave now towards David Campese Oval if it's safe to do so. If you're not currently in the affected area, do not enter the area. Fire crews may not be able to protect you or your property. Do not expect a firefighter at your door. Seek shelter now. People in the area will be affected by thick smoke and embers, which will reduce visibility and also air quality. As the fire approaches, it will be difficult for you to see, to hear and to breathe. You will experience intense heat, darkness and loud noise, and you call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. What you should do, you switch off gas and air conditioning, close windows and doors, sealing the gaps under doors and screens with wet towels to keep the smoke out of the house. Fill containers such as your bath sinks and buckets with water so you have access to drinking and firefighting water. Identify a safe spot to shelter in, which should be a place with more than one exit, away from windows and doors. The safest spot is the place that will keep you furthest away from the intense heat from the fire. Be aware of the location of the fire as it passes your house. Once the fire has passed, use water supplies to put out spot fires. Keep listening to local radio. The fire is travelling in an easterly direction towards Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. This fire has crossed the Molonglo River near Baird and the fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under the current conditions, this fire is difficult to control. Ways you can keep up to date. keep your radio exactly where it is. As long as there's pertinent information for you, we'll be here with you in this rolling coverage. You can also check the ESA website. You can follow the ESA Twitter account, and you can also download and monitor the New South Wales RFS Fires Near Me mobile app. That's the information you need to know in regards to that emergency warning fire. There are probably some other things too that you should know if you are in that area as well. You need to prepare. If you're someone who's not currently under threat, but you're in a bushfire prone area, you need to have a bushfire survival plan. If you don't have one, please go online to ESA or to the RFS website and find out how to make one. Make sure you know what you do if a fire did in fact threaten your property. Leaving early is always the safest option. You should only stay and defend if you're planned and you've prepared well in advance. Only do this if your property is well prepared and you're physically and emotionally well prepared. You should always ensure that you have access to water for firefighting purposes. Electricity and water pressure may actually be cut in a fire, which is why that advice is to actually, as a fire approaches, to fill buckets and baths and anything you've got with some water as well. I know there are lots of people in cars at the moment because obviously there's an emergency warning, Paul, and so people have been asked to leave their properties. But it's probably good to talk a bit and to remind you about vehicle bushfire safety. Never drive through thick smoke or fire. You need to park your vehicle off the road in an area away from trees. Turn off your motor. Close all the doors, windows and air vents. Use headlights and hazard lights and beep your horn. Lie down below the window level and cover yourself with a blanket. Cover your mouth with a damp cloth and also call 000. Once the fire has passed, get out of the car. Sort of information you'd hope you never need to know, but good to have. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra. I'm Georgia Steins here with Paula Kruger.
Thanks for that, Georgia. We've been saying that the Queanbeyan Showground is open for evacuations. Our ABC TV reporter colleague Elise Fanton is there. Elise, what's it like down at Queanbeyan Showgrounds right now?
Oh, hi, Paula. Right here at the moment, it's very windy down here. I can't tell you, it's so super gusty and it's very smoky as well. We're also getting a couple of spots of rain right now, so it is very bizarre conditions down here at the moment. And there's a steady stream of cars strolling into the showgrounds here. There's probably about 20 at the moment, with people, I guess, listening to those warnings to evacuate from areas and to find a safe place. And I've spoken to a number of people who early this morning packed up their cars, put their pets in and just drove straight here and have been sitting here for much of the day just listening to the radio and hoping that their homes will be okay.
You mentioned that there's, I guess, a sense of hope, but how would you describe the mood there with people who are showing up at the Queanbeyan Showgrounds?
I guess people, it's safe to say, they're feeling on edge. You know, they're not sure what is, what's going to happen. There was a bit of a restless night last night after yesterday's fire emergency, and so I guess, at the moment, people are still in good spirits. They're talking and chatting and just, I guess, making the best of this situation. But there is, a sense of unease because they are not sure what's going to happen. So they're just listening to the radio and just hoping for the best.
And Elise, do you know if they're expecting many more to arrive at the Queanbeyan Showgrounds there?
Well, I think they're just waiting, as word spreads around that this is a safe place for people to come to. They are expecting more people to arrive. But, of course, it isn't safe for some people to actually leave if they're where they are at the moment. So, look, there are council workers here at the moment just helping direct people to park their cars. And I think, they'll be here for quite a while.
And, Elise, can you describe to us what happens when people arrive? Do they just pretty much show up and hang out, or is there a process at all when they show up at the Queanbeyan Showgrounds?
No, from what I've observed, people just basically show up, they park their car, and then people have congregated sort of near the showground, the hall there, and they're just chatting to each other. There's actually quite a sense of community because people are sort of like, where have you come from? This is my situation, and they're sort of bonding, I guess, which is kind of nice to see. But yeah, you can just come here and park your car.
It is nice to see. It's good to hear too, Elise. Thank you so much for that update. That's Elise Fanton. She is at the Queanbeyan Showground where people are showing up, and she says that they're just talking to each other, and it seems like that might be helping the mood there. You're on ABC Radio Canberra. My name is Paula Kruger, and with you is Georgia Steins as well.
Paula, we did just hear a moment ago, obviously the emergency warning before we spoke to Elise there at the evacuation centre. But it's also, we also should let people know about that other fire. It's a watch and act, and it's at Callaroo Road. That's the Pialigo fire. Now, so what people need to know if they're in that area, obviously that's at a watch and act level. And so for people in that region, this is what the emergency services really wants you to know. You need to keep up to date. You need to decide what actions you will take because bushfire conditions are changing rapidly. The ACT Emergency Services advises that people in Pialigo, Brindabella Business Park and surrounding areas could be affected by a bushfire in Callaroo Road, Pialigo. These conditions are changing and it could get worse. You need to be ready to follow your bushfire survival plan. If you do not have a plan, you should start preparing one now because the situation could get worse. Now, no properties are under threat from that particular fire at this time, but you need to call 000 immediately if you or your property are under threat. Begin your preparations now. Do not wait to see firefighters or signs of fire to act. You should activate your bushfire survival plan if you have one. If you don't have one, you need to also identify where you go if you need to leave. If you don't have one, you can go to the ESA website and look at, or the RFS, and look at what you need to put in that plan. If you've got time to do that, obviously they're for people not currently under threat. You can bring your pets inside, close windows and doors to minimise smoke exposure, locate important documents, emergency kit, medication, animals and family members. Inform your family, friends and neighbours of your plans and see if they need help preparing. Now, so the current situation for this fire, it's travelling in a southeasterly direction towards Pialigo Avenue. The fire's out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. Under current weather conditions, the fire is difficult to control. This is a situation for both the fires, and obviously we've been chatting to the Bureau of Meteorology regularly, Paula, and the wind is causing some issues out there. But roads, constantly changing the situation with the roads, but if you are travelling in and out of the in around the ACT, the Oaks Estate Road and Railway Street entering Oaks Estate remain closed. Now that's due to the bushfire activity in the area. Canberra Avenue is closed in both directions near the DFO. That's the Hindmarsh Drive intersection. So that sort of, my understanding is, though you're heading back towards Queanbeyan, that's shut. You can't go that way. Several roads are closed also around Canberra Airport, including Majura Avenue and Fairbairn Avenue. And callers are telling us that traffic lights are also out. And also we thank you to the caller who let us know earlier about the multi-vehicle accident. Now that's on the Federal Highway near Collector, south of Goulburn. Emergency services are on the scene. One recurring theme that we keep on getting from callers calling in is about visibility, that the smoke from the fires, but also the wind as well is causing bad visibility on the roads. So please do take care. And if you want to let us know anything, 1300 681 666. Paula and I are always up for a chat, or you can also send us a text on 0467 922 666.
Let's go over to Judy now. Judy lives on Uriara Road near Crestwood and Baird. Judy, what have you been told?
So I'm in a situation where I'm right on the border of the old railway bridge. So we've got RFS on our side doing an amazing job. In fact, they've been using the bathroom when they need to. They're driving up and down around us. They said our prep has been amazing. There's one walking past at the moment having a drink of water. And I can see fire trucks on the other side of the border, which obviously are the ACT Fire Brigade, and that's at Beard, so I've got quite a good view. It's very smoky. The gusts of wind are coming and going, and it does appear the wind changes direction and sort of swirls around. However, the Uriara Road is closed between West Queanbeyan Vet at that roundabout, so you can't come back up that way now. So you won't be able to leave leave Queanbeyan that way. So that's new. That's the first time they've done that, and they didn't do that yesterday. What else can I tell you? We're inside. It's too late to leave, and we feel very secure. Thank you.
Judy, you said that the firefighters said to you that your property was well prepared. Was it always your plan to stay and fight?
Yes, because we have bush just across the bike path from us, which, you know, obviously can be affected by a ember attack. And we've got a sprinkler system on tank water all along our courtyard fence. And all of our neighbours have been up on the roofs. Everyone's put in gutter fire protectors. And we've made sure that the roof is all wet. We've wet all the plants, anything wooden. My partner's now just outside speaking to an RFS guy. So we feel okay.
Judy, how are you going to keep sort of, I guess, calm or entertained? Do you have any plans for the next little while? You prepared your property as much as you can. The firefighters are there. Besides listening to radio, you got any other tips?
I've always had a battery operated radio, and I'm looking at the ESA site and the RFS 5 near me site just to keep updated. However, they're so busy they haven't had a lot of time to keep up with that. We do know that Pialigo fire started a few hours ago because I actually work at Brindabella Park and I looked out the window and I could see a fire. And because of the stress of yesterday, I just left, right? Because, it was just too much for me. So 2 in 1 day has been a little tricky.
You've come home to another one. Do you still have power? You mentioned you've got your battery-operated radio, which is a good thing to have. Have you still got power at the moment and water?
Yes, we've got a lot of tank water, which was built into the property at the time, so we can use that. And yes, as far as I know, I still have power. We've turned the aircon off, because you've told us that's not a good thing. What else can I tell you?
You sound very well prepared.
Exactly, and in good spirits too, Judy.
Because we're on the border, we've got, protection from both sides because of where we are.
Judy, do you have any animals on the property, or have you had to?
I do.
And how have you prepared them? Are they're still there with you?
Yes, well, when I raced home from the fire at Brindabella Park, I called one of the errant ones in because he was recently bitten by a brown snake and it cost us $10,000 to keep him alive. So I made sure that he came in and the others, a bit lazy to go out anyway, so they're just all lounging about.
Judy, look, thanks so much for giving us a call and letting us know how you're doing, and please keep safe.
Do you know, just before you go, I also got a photo of one of the beautiful RFS girls that came in to use the bathroom, and I thought maybe I could send it to you.
We would love that. We're going to pop you back on hold, and we've got some fantastic producers helping Paula and I here, and we would love to see that photo. Right. Judy, please take care.
It was a difficult couple of days for Judy, but it sounds like she's still well prepared. She's still in good spirits, and she's still taking great photos of the RFS using her bathroom.
How about that leaving one fire?
Yes.
That isn't a situation that would happen that often, I would imagine, to come home to another one. But a really good example there about being prepared, the property being prepared, and even the RFS telling them how well prepared they were. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra. I'm Georgia Steins. I'm here with Paula Kruger.
And right now we're going to cross to our colleague Jordan Hain, who's been at Oaks Estate. What's it like there, Jordan?
Well, Paula, it's fairly intense at the moment. Where I am, we're at an electricity substation, which many people familiar with Oaks Estate would know. It's just on the outskirts of the estate, and firefighters are currently actively trying to defend it from fire. Further in towards town, there's a bit of grassland which has sort of been heavily affected by fire in the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. When we first arrived and started seeing what we could see, it was fairly under control, but very quickly a string of bushland and some fairly large trees took up, and within a matter of minutes we were told to leave. And as we went back to the car, I looked over my shoulder and the ground on which we'd been standing was alight. Further in again, the town itself is fairly, as you would expect, fairly quiet at the moment. There was a gentleman we very briefly ran into who offered us a chance to use the bathroom and to have some water. But apart from that, the town itself appears to be very empty at the moment.
And so, I mean, you mentioned obviously the gentleman there that let you use the bathroom, so there's no other people around you at the moment where it's a little hairy?
Certainly, apart from from firefighters and some other media people, no, that's the only person who isn't wearing a very heavy fire suit that we've seen around. Certainly, he seemed to be in reasonably good spirits. Obviously, rather concerned, but he had a business and was looking to defend it, at least for the time being.
And so, Jordan, you've scooted out of the dangerous area. Whereabouts are you now?
So, as I mentioned, we're at a substation, sort of just down about halfway between Oaks Estate and Baird. Up towards Baird, the wind when we arrived, perhaps 45 minutes ago, was particularly intense. Some of the fiercest gusts that I've ever felt, and really hot and dry. And you can only imagine the havoc that's wreaking for firefighters out here trying their best to defend lives and property.
Absolutely. Thanks for your updates, Jordan. That's Jordan Hain, who was at Oaks Estate and has moved to a safer area near a substation now. You're on ABC Radio Canberra with Paula Kruger and Georgia Stein, and we're just going to give you the latest information we have as far as emergency fires in our area goes.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
This is an emergency warning. Now, this is for people to seek shelter immediately. This is for people listening in the Baird, Oaks Estate, West Queanbeyan area, including Crestwood. It's now too late to leave. If you are not in the area, do not return. A bushfire is approaching Baird, Oaks Estate, West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. Now, this fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger. You need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous. It's also potentially deadly. People in the streets north of Uriara Road should leave now towards David Campese Oval if it's safe to do so. If you are not currently in the affected area, do not enter the area. Fire crews may not be able to protect you or your property. Do not expect a firefighter at your door. Seek shelter now. People in the area will be affected by thick smoke. Fire crews may not be able to protect you. The smoke and the embers will also reduce visibility and air quality. As the fire approaches, it will be difficult for you to see, for you to hear, and also to breathe. You will experience intense heat, darkness, and loud noise. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. Other things you should do: switch off the gas and air conditioning. Close windows and your doors. Seal the gaps under doors and screens with wet towels to keep smoke out of the house. Fill containers such as your bath, sinks and buckets with water so you have access to drinking and firefighting water. Identify a safe spot to shelter in. Now, this should be a place with more than one exit, away from windows and doors. Now, the safest spot is the place that will keep you furthest away from that intense heat from the fire. Be aware of the location of the fire as it passes your house. Once the fire has passed, you can use your water supply to put out spot fires. Keep listening to ABC Local Radio. We'll keep you up to date with the situation. The fire is travelling in an easterly direction currently. Now, this is towards Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. The fire has crossed the Molonglo River near Baird. The fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under these current conditions, this fire is very difficult to control. Keep up to date. ABC Radio, exactly where you are right now. Check the ESA website, esa.act.gov.au. Follow the ESA on Twitter and also on Facebook. Download and monitor the New South Wales RFS Fires Near Me mobile app. You also stay tuned to ABC Radio as well. Now, we also just need to let you know too, please do be aware of the roads. Police are on the scene and they are keeping track of the roads, so they will open and close.
And before we go into the news at the top of the hour, let's cross and see what's happening at the airport. With us is the head of aviation, Michael Thompson. Michael, what can you tell us?
We had a fire to the south of Pialigo Road near Sugar Drive, which has meant that the airport, while it remains open, departing and arriving flights have been severely compromised. At the moment, there is limited number of departing flights. There are no arriving flights. Decision was made by air traffic control to allow for firefighting aircraft to use the airfield exclusively.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of the situation at the moment. I should stress that the airport itself is open. It hasn't been evacuated. There were some rumours that it had been. Similarly, Brindabella Park has not been evacuated. And we have put on buses to allow passengers that want to get back to Civic, because the roads in and out of the airport have been closed. I would suggest that people check the live traffic app and the ESA website, and if you're flying today, contact your airlines and find out.
Thanks for that update, Michael. We'll have more information for you after the news at 2 o'clock.
ABC News with Andrew Messenger. An alert is current for people living near the suburbs of Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan as yesterday's big forest fire again burns at emergency level. Alexandra Alvaro reports.
The fire burning close to the Canberra airport has jumped the Molonglo River. It began yesterday in Redwood Forest in Pialigo and is approaching Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan. There's also an out-of-control watch and act level fire burning on the other side of the airport. Canberra Airport has closed to all arrivals and departures. Many businesses in West Queanbeyan are now closed, and office workers in the Brindabella Business Park are on alert to evacuate if necessary. Conditions are likely to ease later in the afternoon.
In New South Wales, the Rural Fire Service is warning the fire danger across the state is starting to peak, with 5 fires at emergency warning level. Jessica Kidd reports.
An emergency warning has just been declared for the Creewar Road fire in the Glen Allen area west of Bega. Residents near New Line Road and Creewar Road have been told it's too late to leave. Emergency warnings are also in place for the Adaminaby Complex fire in the Snowy Mountains, the Big Jack Mountain Road fire east of Bombala, the Badger Forest Road fire between Bega and Maruya, and the Clyde Mountain fire west of Batemans Bay. The Rural Fire Service says embers are being blown ahead of the Clyde Mountain fire, and there is an immediate threat to homes in the Maruya, West Maruya, Mogandjura and Womban areas. Another 4 fires across the state are at watch and act.
There is rolling coverage of the Canberra fires throughout the day on ABC Radio Canberra, 666 AM on the AM dial. There's also detailed online coverage at news.abc.net.au. Australia's Chief Medical Officer insists Australia is extremely well prepared to respond to any suspected cases of the deadly coronavirus. Professor Brendan Murphy says no ill passengers were found on the last flight from Wuhan City, which touched down in Sydney earlier today. He says tests to detect the virus currently take 2 days, but more rapid testing is being developed in Australian labs.
There will be, on a regular basis, people who might be suspected that the state and territory health authorities will investigate. If we do find a case, we are extremely well prepared. Every one of our state public health departments has a designated isolation facility.
Westpac has appointed the former boss of a rival bank to be its new chairman. The details from David Chow.
John McFarlane has been picked to be the new chair of Westpac, a bank which is desperately trying to restore its reputation in light of a money laundering scandal before the courts. Mr. McFarlane has been a banker for more than 40 years, during which he was chairman of the British bank Barclays, and before that, the chief executive of ANZ. In his new role at Westpac, Mr. McFarlane's first key task will be to find a new CEO, after its last one, Brian Hartzer, was forced to step down after the financial intelligence watchdog Austrac accused the bank of breaching anti-money laundering laws 23 million times.
The national unemployment rate edged lower in December. ABS figures show nearly 29,000 jobs were added. However, full-time positions decreased. EY Chief Economist Joe Masters says the labour market has remained resilient, but she expects the unemployment rate to increase in the coming months.
We are seeing the economy continue to create actually quite a lot of jobs. It is important to note, though, that all of those jobs were part-time, so obviously we're more confident when the jobs being created are full-time. We have an economy that is growing below potential. The average monthly gain in jobs has slowed.
5 high school students from Adelaide Scotch College who were injured in a bus rollover at Nelson in the far west of Victoria remain in hospital in a stable condition. 2 students were flown to Adelaide Children's and Children's Hospital last night. Others were taken to Mount Gambier Hospital, where 2 have since been discharged. The crash happened yesterday afternoon. 21 high school students and 4 adults were on board when the bus rolled. To sport in tennis, former world number 1 Garbina Muguruza has beaten Australia's Ajla Tomljanovic to reach the 3rd round of the Australian Open in Melbourne. The Spaniard won 6-3, 3-6, 6-3. And in the one-day cricket at Manuka Oval, New South Wales won the toss and sent the ACT Meteors into bat. The Meteors have been dismissed in the 47th over for 187, with Carly Leeson top scoring with 56. A total fire ban and damaging wind alert are both current for Canberra today. Windy, dust haze and the chance of a shower. Tomorrow partly cloudy and 29. Saturday mostly sunny and 31. Winds are gusting to 60 kilometres an hour at top 35, at the moment 34.
ABC Radio. Emergency information.
This is an emergency warning. Now, this is for people listening in the Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan area. This is an emergency. Seek shelter immediately. It's now too late to leave. If you're not in the area, do not return. A bushfire is approaching Baird, Oaks Estate, West Queanbeyan, including Crestwood. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous and potentially deadly. People in the streets north of Uriara Road should leave now towards David Campese Oval if it's safe to do so. If you're not currently in the affected area, do not enter the area. Fire crews may not be able to protect you or your property. Do not expect a firefighter at your door. Seek shelter now. People in the area will be affected by thick smoke and also embers. This will reduce your visibility and also your air quality. As the fire approaches, it will be difficult for you to see, hear and breathe. You will experience intense heat, darkness and loud noise. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. Other things you should do. Switch off the gas and the air conditioning. Close windows and doors. Seal the gaps under the doors and screens with wet towels to keep smoke out of the house. Fill containers such as your bath, sinks, buckets with water so you have access to drinking and firefighting water. Identify a safe spot to shelter in, which should be a place with more than one exit away from windows and doors. Now, the safest spot is the place that will keep you furthest away from the intense heat from the fire. Be aware of the location of the fire as it passes your house. Now, once the fire has passed, use your water supplies to put out spot fires. Listen to ABC local radio. If you can, get a battery-operated radio. These are good things to have in these situations. The fire is travelling in an easterly direction towards Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan. Now, this is including Crestwood. This fire has crossed the Molonglo River near Baird. The fire is currently out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under current conditions, this fire is difficult to control. Ways that you can keep up to date. Check the ESA website, esa.act.gov.au. Follow their Twitter account and also their Facebook page. Keep your radio listening to ABC Local Radio Canberra. We'll keep you up to date with the fires in our region. You can also follow us on Facebook and also on Twitter. All the warnings are being put up on our Facebook page. You can also contact Access Canberra if you need to check some road information as well, or you can go to live traffic as well to check that information. But I've also got some road information for you here now. Some roads that are closed in our region, and there is a number of them. Before I mention all these roads for you, I just want to remind you that the situation is constantly evolving. Obviously, we've got a situation where we've got a lot of wind out there and the fire is erratic and is changing directions in some cases. So in this situation, these are the roads we know at the moment that have been released by ACT policing, and also callers have rung in to tell us things as well, but there are police on the scene and they are shutting and closing roads as they need to, as well as our fire and other emergency services. So please know that this is what we know as of the moment. Oaks Estate Road and Railway Street entering Oaks Estate, that remains closed. Now, other roads as well. Shergar, Pialigo Avenue, Yass Road at Pialigo Avenue, Fairbairn Avenue in Pialigo, Majura North Road, Copper Crescent. Apparently that you can exit, but there's no entry is the information we've got at the moment. Coppers Cross, Nickel Street, Canberra Avenue, Kendall Avenue, Canberra Avenue near Tom Price, Canberra Avenue near Nomad Drive, Tom Price Street, Canberra Avenue, Railway Street, Fairbairn, Old Majura Road, Beltana, Pialigo, North Road, Copper Crescent and Canberra Avenue, Uriara Road, Kendall Avenue, Beltana Road, Pialigo, Baird, Brindabella, Pialigo Avenue, Brindabella, Molonglo, Uriara Road, Kendall Avenue, Hindmarsh Drive near Canberra Avenue, Tom Price Street, Canberra Avenue. As we've mentioned, though, this is changing a lot. But the main advice is, if obviously you're in an area where there is the emergency fire, now that is around Baird, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan, you're being told to stay where you are if you're in that area directly affected by fire. And if you're outside that, not to enter it. Now, around Pialigo and the airport, it's the same situation, which it's best not to go into those areas. You're listening to ABC Local Radio Canberra. I'm Georgia Steins and I'm here with Paula Kruger.
Thanks for that, Georgia. We'll also keep an eye on fires in our region. If you need to keep up to date with these fires, though, you can go to the Fires Near Me app from the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. Now, according to that, the Adam Ninibee Complex fire is at an emergency level, so fire activity is increasing. There are strong northwesterly winds being experienced and the fire is spreading spreading quickly towards the area of Adam Ninibee, and it may reach Adam Ninibee area this afternoon. And you also may want to know that the Clyde Mountain Fire, about a quarter of an hour ago, that was at an emergency level. If you need coverage of fires in the New South Wales region in our area, then I recommend you catch up with our colleagues at ABC Southeast. They'll have rolling coverage of the bushfire emergency there. We've also had quite a few texts coming through on our text line on 0467 922 666 saying that the Fires Near Me app shows that there's a fire in Phillip. Now, that was earlier today and it was a tree fire. If you want up-to-date information on fires in our area, I recommend you go to the ESA website. So that is the esa.act.gov.au, and you will find updated information there. You're on ABC Radio Canberra. It's Paula Kruger here with Georgia Steins. We also had a text from Dia who says the traffic lights are out on Hindmarsh Drive between Monera Highway and Woden in Canberra Hospital in Woden, and also traffic on Monera Highway is like a car park. Please avoid it if you can. And we might go for a quick... Bella, I think, has given us a call. Bella, whereabouts are you and what do you see?
So I'm currently out at Googong, which is getting progressively more and more smoky as the day progresses. I was in Fishwick earlier today because that's where I work. We were sent home around 11 because we lost power. So I headed to my gym, which was down the road and has a really good view of some of the bushland out the back of Fishwick. And there was a lot of water bombing activity going on, and then there were visible flames.
Okay, did you go there to actually see the fire or to work out?
A bit of both. Yesterday with the fire, we were keeping an eye on the flames and the water bombing until we all got an emergency text message telling people in Fishwick to seek shelter, and we all went home.
Right, so what was it like when you were travelling around? Were you getting around on the roads easily, Bella?
It wasn't too bad. Queanbeyan was getting a lot worse and was very smoky, like orange skies, bad visibility, and Googong is just getting smokier and smokier.
So are you feeling a bit better now that you're at least at home?
Yeah, it's good.
And what are conditions like outside where you are now, Bella?
Quite windy, but otherwise nothing too bad other than the smoke.
Well, look, we appreciate your call and the update, Bella. That is Bella, and she's in Googong saying that she's home now, but that it's still pretty windy, and she's talking a lot about the smoky conditions out there, Georgia.
Yeah, and even just looking out the window here at Dixon where you and I are, it's very windy. There are some trees having a little bit of trouble out there on Northbourne Avenue. We have done a long list of road closures, which we'll keep repeating for you sort of every 10 or 15 minutes or so. But if you are travelling out and about, if you have been asked to leave work or whatever, please do take care. We know the situation is not great on the roads. There was also a multi-vehicle accident on the Federal Highway near Collector south of Goulburn, so there were issues there as well. So you should probably check live traffic if you are planning on travelling that way up to Sydney, planning to get out of Canberra. If you are someone who is leaving this area affected by fire around Queanbeyan and Baird and Oaks Estate, just a reminder that the Queanbeyan Showground is open for evacuations. So that is a place that you can go to. And Paula and I are going to be with you. So if you just want to have a chat or you want to ask the authorities something or find out something for you, 1300 681 666 and also SMS 0467 922 666. And a big thanks to everyone who has given us a call or texted in. Some pretty amazing people out there prepared though, Paula.
Absolutely. We've heard some very well prepared people. John from Braddon has given us a call. John, you've been on the roads. What is it like out there? Whereabouts were you?
So I left Queanbeyan probably a little bit after 1:30. It took me maybe half an hour to get back into town via Lanyon Drive. So there's no blockages on Lanyon Drive, but the traffic is very heavy.
So
I just came down Lanyon Drive to Hume and then turned right onto the Monero.
So about when was that you're on Lanyon Drive, John?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
When was that? About how long ago were you on Lanyon Drive when it was looking...
25 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago.
What were the worst spots, John? Where were things really held up?
just coming onto the Monero Highway, there was just a slow spot at the lights there. So, you know, that you get 15 cars through at a time or something like that, and there was probably traffic backed up a couple of kilometres.
Oh, thanks for that update, John. Are you safely home now?
No, but I'm not far from it. And I must say, as I came off the Monero onto Canberra Avenue, the lights are out there as well, but not causing any grief.
Okay, thanks for that update, John. That's John from Braddon letting you know what he saw when he was out and about on the roads. If there's anything you think, if there's anything you're seeing that would help us knowing about, you can give me a call on 1300 681 666.
A real changing situation here this afternoon. Obviously, with the weather, we've got wind, so there are some traffic lights out, which is obviously being affected by the wind and things. Also, some car accidents to be aware of, but also this bushfire in particular, the one that is at emergency warning level, which is in Baird, Oaks Estate and Crestwood. Paul, it's probably good too just to remind people about how to prepare for a bushfire. So if you're in other parts of the ACT at the moment, you're not directly affected. If you don't have a bushfire plan, it's probably a really good time to think about getting one. And I think one of the things that the Rural Fire Service often talk to us about too is to make sure you've discussed it with everyone in the family so everyone knows what the plan is to be as well.
We've all got to be like Judy. Judy was amazing.
How good was Judy? And Judy even obviously had enough toilet paper and the like because all the RFS were in there using her bathroom. The other thing too that just to remind you all about too is if you're in your car, if you are someone that does have to leave an area because of a bushfire, so you're going to be affected by smoke and poor visibility. This is some of the information the emergency services have given us just to remind you about is just to never drive through thick smoke or fire, to park your vehicle off the road in an area clear away from trees, to turn off the motor, close all doors, windows and air vents, use headlights and hazard lights and to beep your horn. Also lie down below the window level and to cover yourself with a blanket, cover your mouth with a damp cloth, call 000, and once the fire has passed, at that point, get out of the car. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra. I'm Georgia Steins. I'm here with Paula Kruger.
We're going to hear from Christine now. Christine, I understand you're trying to get to Queanbeyan.
Yeah, just trying to deliver a staff member to their home, and we came down Canberra Avenue and turned right at Fishwick to go down the road to Jerrabombra on the Monero Highway. So Harmon is just on our left, and as the crow flies, I'll say it's only 250 metres away, and the flames were right up, and we're now like there's enough. I've seen 2 water bombings happen in about the last 10 minutes alone.
Are you far from where you need to be, Christine?
Trying to get to Queanbeyan. Yeah, so probably, well, you'd like to think it's a 10-minute drive, but yeah, it's probably not.
Christine, are there emergency services or police are probably in this instance directing? Are you getting any information on the ground?
No, there is at the intersection of Fishwick where Hindmarsh Drive and Canberra Avenue meet. Yes, the police are there stopping people going forward because in the announcements that were coming out about Baird and Tom Price, not many people know that's actually at the back of DFO. So in terms of the location, no, nobody is allowed to go any further down that road towards past DFO. So Tom Price is one of those streets around the back there of DFO, and Baird is that non-residential suburb at the back of DFO on the border of New South Wales border.
Christine, will you then have to drop off and then travel back? Is that the plan at the moment?
Yeah, but I can just do the long way and go via Bonython and, loop around that way to get back to Monica, so that'll be all right. I've just got to get Michelle home.
Please do take care, both you and Michelle, please.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. That's Christine there. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra. I'm Georgia Steins and I'm in the studio with Paula Kruger.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
So just bringing you the latest information that we have from the ESA. So the Callaroo fire and the Pialago Redwood Forest fire have merged. And so this fire is now being called the Baird fire. So people in Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialago and Brindabella Business Park are advised to follow the following warnings, and as far as information goes about the Baird fire. So just repeating, the Callaroo fire and the Pialago Redwood Forest fire have merged, and that's now being referred to as the Baird fire. So people in Oaks Estate, Baird, Harmon and Crestwood, you should seek shelter immediately. So it's now too late to leave. If you are not in the area, do not return. Once again, those areas are Oaks Estate, Baird, Harmon and Crestwood. If you are not in these areas, do not return. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving is now extremely dangerous and potentially deadly. So you can call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. For people in Pialago and Brindabella Business Park, if you're in those areas, stay up to date and monitor conditions and stay in your location. So the current situation for that fire is that it's travelling in a southeasterly direction. So as it travels in that southeasterly direction, it is heading towards Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood in Queanbeyan. The fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under the current conditions, the fire is difficult to control. People in the area may be affected by thick smoke and embers, which will reduce visibility and air quality. So I'm just going to repeat the main point about this fire. It's an emergency warning, emergency level warning, and the Callaroo fire and the Pialago Redwood Forest fire have merged, and this fire is now being called the Baird fire.
So if you are listening to us in the area, just the important information that Paula has just given there about the emergency warning level fire. Callaroo fire, which we were mentioning earlier, and Pialago, they've now merged. They are the one fire and they're called the Baird fire. And we will keep you up to date, obviously, with that situation. Just a reminder too of our numbers if you need them: 1300 681 666, 0467 922 666. We'll bring you the latest information as soon as we have it, but if you want to give us a call and let us know something you think we need to know, or you want us to check something, we'll also do that as well. Keep up to date by following the ESA on their social media channels, and also the ABC Facebook page is updating constantly and giving you the information there. Now, in terms of roads and going in and out of the area, you just need to obviously, the advice that we're being given, that we're passing on to you, is please don't go into that region at all where that bushfire is. If you can, please do not go into it. And obviously in some areas it will be too late for people to leave and to move. So we'll give you the advice as we have it. But there are a number of major roads in Canberra coming out of Queanbeyan, coming out of Fyshwick, around the Pialago area, that are all closed. So it is best that you avoid that area completely if you can. You're on ABC Local Radio Canberra, Georgia Steins and Paula Kruger.
Thanks, Georgia. We've got a call on 1300 681 666 from Laura. Laura is in Macarthur. And Laura, you've just driven to the Tuggers area from Fyshwick. What was the traffic like?
Yeah, well, I attempted to go High Marsh Drive and Monero, which is a car park. So I came through down Canberra Avenue in the other direction, down Adelaide Avenue. But there's lots of lights out that way as well. So Canberra Avenue, many lights out there. The intersection of Yamba Drive and High Marsh Drive, they're out, but they do have police there. And then all along Yamba Drive and Erindale Drive, they're out there as well.
So how's the traffic behaving? I mean, you mentioned it's like a car park, but motorists are behaving themselves?
Mostly. I think if you're on the main road kind of going straight, you're okay. But anyone that's trying to turn onto those roads, you'd be sitting there for a while. So you might want to go a different way. But I think going home from Barton Civic Russell area this afternoon, Tuggeranong Parkway is probably the best bet.
So how long did that trip take you?
An hour.
Okay. So how much longer is that than usual, Laura?
Oh, 40 minutes.
Yes. Oh, look, Laura, thank you so much for your call. And yes, it is true. Usually, Georgia Steins, we say that it only takes 20 minutes to get anywhere in Canberra. Not today on a day of very difficult conditions, though.
No, there is definitely a lot of road closures. So probably the best thing we can tell you is to check the live traffic. You can also go to Access Canberra. Keep listening to ABC. But listeners are also, as in that situation, thank you so much for giving us a call. But this is just a little overview, but just to give you a sense of the situation at the moment. The two fires have merged. So the Callaroo fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest fire have merged. Now that is now being called the Baird fire. And so people in Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialigo, Brindabella Business Park. Now you're all advised to follow warnings and information for the Baird fire. We're going to repeat that warning in a minute because it has just only recently changed that situation. But the other thing too that you just need to be aware of is the roads. If you are planning to get on the roads, if you really have to, probably if you can avoid it and stay within the Canberra central area, that's probably the best idea at the moment. But roads that we know of through police that are closed: Sherga, Pialigo Avenue, Yass Road, Pialigo Avenue, Pialigo, Fairburn Avenue, Majura, North Road, Copper Crescent. At the last we heard was that you could exit but no entry. Coppers Cross, Nicholl Street, Canberra Avenue, Kendall Avenue, Canberra Avenue, Tom Price, Canberra Avenue, Nomad Drive, Tom Price Street, Canberra Avenue, Railway Street, Fairbairn, Old Majura Road, Beltana, Pialigo, North Road, Copper Crescent and Canberra Avenue, Uriara Road, Kendall Avenue, Beltana Road, Pialigo Avenue, Baird, Brindabella, Pialigo Avenue, Brindabella, Molongalo, Uriara Road, Kendall Avenue, Hindmarsh Drive, Canberra Avenue and Tom Price Street, Canberra Avenue. That is by no means a definitive list. As we said, police and emergency services will open and shut the roads as they need to, and also the situation is constantly changing. You're listening to ABC Radio.
Thanks for that, Georgia. Nigel from Deakin is currently on the Monero Highway. Nigel, what's the Monero like at the moment?
Southbound, northbound not too bad. I'm just approaching Hindmarsh Drive now. It's slowing up a little bit. Southbound, it's not that flash. But just looking across towards the fire there at Harmon, it's not looking good.
And so it's not looking. Whereabouts does it actually slow down, Nigel?
Well, going north, it's slowed down a little bit as we approach Hindmarsh, but coming south, it's the traffic coming off Hindmarsh to turn left is at a standstill, and the traffic coming sort of from up at Fishwick too, it's pretty slow. So where Hindmarsh comes down onto the Monero, it's stopped.
And what are you seeing out there, Nigel, other than the very heavy traffic?
Yeah, well, there's a few graders and a bit of bushfire equipment floating about, and I'm just going on to Hindmarsh Drive now. But look back towards Harmon before it turned off. It was a lot of black smoke coming up. It's sort of into some pretty thick fuel there, I'd say, at the moment.
Thanks for that update, Nigel. That's Nigel from Deakin. So he's leaving work and he's currently on the Monero Highway. And as he mentioned there, he says southbound is at a standstill. He's just got himself onto Hindmarsh Drive now. This is ABC Radio Canberra. And right now we're giving you the latest information we have on emergency fires here in the ACT.
ABC Radio. Emergency information.
There is an emergency warning current. This is for the Baird fire. The Callaroo fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest fire, these two fires have merged. This fire is now called the Baird fire. People in Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park are now advised to follow warnings and information for the Baird fire. People in Oaks Estate, Baird, Harmon and Crestwood, these people should seek shelter immediately. It's now too late for you to leave. If you are not in the area, do not return. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and they need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous and potentially deadly. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. People in Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park should stay up to date and monitor conditions. Stay in their location. Now, the current situation. This fire is travelling in a southeasterly direction. This is towards Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood in Queanbeyan. This fire is out of control. Firefighters are now on the scene. However, other current conditions, the fire is difficult to control. People in the area may be affected by thick smoke and embers. This will reduce visibility and air quality. Keep up to date. You need to check the ESA website, esa.act.gov.au. You can also follow their Twitter handle or their Facebook account. You should follow the ABC also on Facebook and Twitter. We'll be putting information up there for you as well. Download and monitor the New South Wales RFS Fires Near Me mobile app. Stay tuned to your local ABC radio station. Paula and I will be keeping you up to date. You're listening to ABC Local Radio Canberra.
And joining us right now with some breaking news is Louise Willis. Louise, what's happened?
Hey Paula, hey Georgia. I've got some bad news to bring you. The New South Wales Rural Fire Service says it's investigating reports that a large air tanker has crashed in the New South Wales south. In a statement, it said contact's been lost with a large air tanker and it was working in the snowy Monero area. Then a number of helicopters are in the area carrying out a search for that large air tanker, which has been lost while it was been working in the snowy Monero area. So the New South Wales Rural Fire Service is investigating that incident, and that's all the information I have for you just at the second. But obviously, we'll bring you more as we get it.
Appreciate that update, Louise. Let's go to more news headlines. Good afternoon, Andrew Messenger.
Thanks, Paula. To sum up the local fire situation, the Pielago Redwood Forest Fire and the fire nearby that started this morning have merged. The newly named Beard Fire is burning at emergency level towards Beard, Oaks Estate, Harmon now, and Crestwood in Queanbeyan. People in those areas have been advised it is too late to leave. Our rolling coverage will continue shortly, but there's also full online coverage at news.abc.net.au. Interstate, the Adabinaby Complex Fire is back at emergency level, as is the Clyde Mountain Fire south of the Kings Highway, west of Maruya, and the Badger Forest Fire inland from Narooma. In other news, the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, says he's waiting on the outcome of an investigation by his department before determining the fate of Deputy Nationals leader Bridget McKenzie. The US Democrats have appealed to Republican senators to vote to remove President Donald Trump from office, saying it's needed to protect the country's democracy. And the Chinese city of Wuhan has put a halt to all outbound planes and train services as it tries to contain the outbreak of the coronavirus. To the weather, total fire ban and damaging wind alerts remain current. The forecast, a windy day with dust haze and the chance of a shower or storm. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and 29. Saturday, mostly sunny and 31. The winds currently gusting to 78 kilometres an hour. Today's top was 35, at the moment 29. More ABC News at 3 o'clock.
Thanks for that, Andy. We'll catch up with you at 3. Right now, though, we're going to go to our ABC Canberra colleague, Jordan Hain. Jordan, whereabouts are you now?
So I'm standing right outside the sign at the entrance to Oaks Estate. We've made our way back in since I last spoke to you, and indeed, it at least temporarily appears to be a little bit clearer. The wind seems a little calmer, and there's definitely improved visibility compared to when I last spoke to you just before 2 p.m. Now, that doesn't mean the threat's over. Obviously, as we've been repeating, fire is still burning at emergency level, and it is too late to leave for this area and others in the surrounding area as the fire burns towards it.
Jordan, can you give us any idea of what kind of resources are being thrown at the fire where you are? What are you seeing?
Certainly, we've seen a couple of instances where fire crews seemingly out of nowhere have sprung up where there's been threats and managed to tame or at least divert away from property some of the flare-ups that we've been seeing. We've seen probably along this short stretch of road, probably close to a dozen fire tankers from both ACT Fire and Rescue and the Queanbeyan Fire Brigade as well. We've also been seeing water bombers fly overhead, though we haven't seen any drops in the immediate vicinity, which may simply indicate that we are not yet in the heart of the fire.
Thanks for that update, Jordan. We'll catch up with you later in the afternoon. That's ABC reporter Jordan Hain, and as he said, he's standing just outside the Oaks Estate sign there. You're on ABC Radio Canberra with Paula Kruger and Georgia Stein. We're giving you emergency coverage of the bushfires in our area, and right now we're just going to give you the latest information we have on emergency bushfires.
ABC ABC Radio. Emergency information.
So the current information, this is an emergency warning level. The Callaroo Fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest Fire have merged. This fire is now called the Baird Fire. People in Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park, they're advised to follow warnings and information for the Baird Fire. People in Oaks Estate, Baird, Harmon and Crestwood, they should seek shelter immediately. It is now too late to leave. If you are not in the area, do not return. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and they need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous and potentially deadly. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. People in Pialigo and the Brindabella Business Park should stay up to date and monitor conditions and also stay in their current location. The fire is travelling in a southeasterly direction towards Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood in Queanbeyan. Now the fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under current conditions, the fire is difficult to control. People in the area may be affected by thick smoke and embers, which will reduce visibility and also air quality. To keep up to date, keep listening to ABC Local Radio Canberra. Monitor the ESA website, also their Twitter and Facebook accounts, and also ABC News, abc.net.au, and also our ABC Facebook and Twitter accounts will also keep you up to date. Keep listening to ABC Local Radio Canberra.
Thanks for that, Georgia. And there are also emergency bushfires in our area. If you need outside the ACT, information for this is available on the New South Wales Rural Fire Service website. If you need ongoing coverage of these fires on the radio, you can tune in to our colleagues at ABC Radio Southeast. But just very briefly, I can tell you that the Adaminibi Complex fire is at an emergency level. So fire activity is increasing. Strong northwesterly winds are being experienced and the fire is spreading quickly towards the area of Adaminibi. And the fire is expected to reach Adaminibi later this afternoon. Also, Clyde Mountain fire, that is also at an emergency level. But as I mentioned, you can get an update by going to the Rural Fire Service website. Fires Near Me app will keep you up to date. This is ABC Radio Canberra. You're with Paula Kruger and Georgia Stein. And joining us now is Louise Willis, who has been keeping an eye on our text line. Louise, there's a bit of an issue that's popped up on Baird.
There's a lot of discussion going on, Paula, on the text line and Georgia, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it, as well as it's very important to keep you up to date on the latest information with the fires. But we've run into a bit of a difficulty, and we're hoping that our listeners out there will give us a hand. We are being told by one half of the community that the town of Baird is pronounced Baird, and I think the other half of the community is telling us that the town is pronounced Beard, like what a man has on his face.
Yes.
So we are a little bit stuck, and we are actually hoping that the listeners who live, work, play, or whatever you're doing in Beard or Baird can give us a ring, tell us what's going on in their community to keep us updated on what's happening with the fires, the things that they can see and the things that they're doing, and also perhaps settle a little bit of a debate for us that's going on.
Otherwise, we might be having to say Beard just to keep everyone happy, and that sounds like a belch, really, doesn't it?
Slightly slur it. Is that your suggestion, Paula?
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't sound good. So I guess it's important that we get this correct. We want to get factually correct on all the information
so that everyone knows what we're talking about. I guess that's exactly why right. These pronunciations are important.
Indeed. So give out the number, Paula, and tell people of Beard and Baird to call in. And there'll be serious things to tell us as what's going on out there is obviously very dangerous, but also to clarify that for us on air.
We do like to get it right. The text line is 0467 922 666. Is it Baird? Is it Beard? You're on ABC Radio Canberra. Thank you, Louise Willis. With you is Paula Kruger and Georgia Stein. And we're just going to catch up with Amanda, who's in Jerrabomberra. And Amanda, where exactly are you, and what can you see?
Oh, hi. I'm sitting in Jerrabomberra and in an area called sort of the Jerrabomberra Heights or North Terrace, and the view that I have at the moment, I can see out the front and slightly to my left is Mount Ainslie and Majura, and then over to the areas of Queanbeyan. And just in the last sort of 10 to 20 minutes or so, the smoke's really changed in colour, and it's gone from that sort of white, smoky, hazy colour to a really dark black smoke. So can't see any flames from here, but certainly I can see on a hill a little further in the distance and closer to the area that there's a lot of people up there looking at what's going on. And yeah, just that change in the smoke in the last short while has been quite obvious.
And so are you pretty much in position now and you're not going anywhere, Amanda?
I actually left work in the Parliamentary Triangle around about an hour or so ago, just out of an abundance of caution to pack up the car with the things that we've had ready in bags for a few weeks now. And, you know, in case of more road closures, it might prevent us from being able to do that a little later. But right now I'll probably try and head back into Canberra where I can pick up my children and other members of family. But as for where we go tonight, we'll just see what happens in this area to see where we end up.
Well, you sound nice and calm and sounds like you're thinking everything through, Amanda, which is what we're told we need to do. You're on ABC Radio Canberra with Paula Kruger and Georgia Stein.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure being with you this afternoon. If you want to get in contact with Paula and I, we love a chat, 1300 681 666, 04679 22 666. Now, in terms of traffic, look, there is a number of roads closed. Now, this is what ACT Police has been saying. This is the advice that we're being given. All motorists are advised to avoid bushfire-affected areas. This includes Baird, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, West Queanbeyan, Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park. Multiple road closures in place. Driving in these areas is extremely dangerous and potentially deadly. Now, that is the latest advice from ACT Police, which they have tweeted out. We have told you also about a number of roads that are closed. So if you can just imagine the area around Pialigo, the airport and Queanbeyan, these are pretty much no-go areas. If you can, please avoid them. So we've got Sherga, Pialigo Avenue, Yass Road, Pialigo Avenue, Fairburn Avenue, Majura, North Road, Copper Crescent, Coppers Cross, Nichols Street, Canberra Avenue, Kendall Avenue, Canberra Avenue, Tom Price, Canberra Avenue, Nomad Drive, Tom Price Street, Canberra Avenue, Railway Street, Fairbairn, Old Majura Road, Beltana, Pialigo, North Road, Copper Crescent and Canberra Avenue, Baird, Brindabella, Pialigo Avenue, Brindabella, Molonglo, Uriara Road, Kendall Avenue, Hindmarsh Drive, Canberra Avenue, Tom Price Street, Canberra Avenue. This is by no means definitive, or there might be other ones, and some of these may reopen in certain situations. But as ACT Police have said, please avoid the bushfire affected areas. Now, there is an emergency warning current, which we probably should remind people about, Paula. This is the emergency warning.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
So the Callaroo fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest fire, these two fires merged a little while ago. This fire is now being called the Baird fire. People in Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialigo and the Brindabella Business Park, all these people are advised to follow warnings and information for this fire, which is now being called the Baird fire. Now, people in Oaks Estate, Baird, Harmon, Crestwood, they should seek shelter immediately. It's now too late to leave. If you're not in the area, do not return. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and they need to seek immediate shelter as this fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous. It's also potentially deadly. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. Now, for people listening in Pialigo and the Brindabella Business Park, in that area, you need to stay up to date and monitor the conditions of this fire and to stay in your location. The current situation is the fire is travelling in a southeasterly direction. Now it's travelling towards Baird, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood in Queanbeyan. Now the fire is currently out of control. There are firefighters on the scene. However, under current conditions, the fire is very difficult to control. People in the area may be affected by thick smoke and embers, which will reduce visibility and also air quality. You need to keep up to date by checking the ESA website, esa.act.gov.au. You can also follow them on their social media accounts, their Twitter and their Facebook. Download and monitor the New South Wales RFS Fires Near Me mobile app. Stay tuned to ABC Local Radio. We'll be keeping you up to date with all the information. Our colleagues also on our website and also our Facebook and our Twitter are also keeping you up to date, so you can also follow us there. And Paula and I, we're still here, so you can give us a call, 1300 681 666 or 0467 922 666.
A short time ago, there was a press conference held by the ESA. We've got part of that press conference to bring to you now. It begins with the Chief Minister.
Multiple fires burning in the ACT. The government will be re-establishing the territory-wide state of alert for the rest of today, tomorrow and the long weekend. Minister for Emergency Services, Mick Gentleman, will now provide further information on the state of alert.
Thank you, Chief Minister. And as you've heard and seen, weather conditions have deteriorated across the ACT today, and we've seen a number of fires now increasing in the Territory. These conditions are challenging, and as the Chief Minister outlined, the Beard fire is at emergency warning level, and people in these areas are being asked to seek shelter. Given these conditions, we've made the decision today to begin working on reinstating the state of alert from the regional areas to a territory-wide state of alert. The Chief Minister and I have made the decision to reappoint Georgina Whelan as the Emergency Controller for today, tomorrow and over the weekend as well. We don't take these decisions lightly, but given the conditions we're facing, these measures will provide the appropriate resources to the ESA Commissioner to do her job and protect life and property. A state of alert is a signal to the community to be aware of the conditions around them and to keep us up to the latest information coming from the ESA. With that, I'll invite the Commissioner to give you more detail.
Thank you very much, Minister. Good afternoon to the Canberra community. Today is a total fire ban day, and as you will be aware from our emergency updates, we have been responding to 2 bushfires in our area. They were known as the Killaroo Road Fire and the Pielago Fire. These fires have now been merged and will be called the Beard Fire. This fire is at emergency warning level. My Chief of Fire and Rescue, Mark Brown, will provide you more details on those fires shortly. The weather conditions have been challenging and changing rapidly, and we are continuing to respond to the fires as best we can in our efforts to contain the fire spread and to keep our community safe. As many of you in the community have seen, our agency is responsive, flexible and robust. And today, with our colleagues from ACT Policing, we are showing that we are in strength, combined, responding to wind, storm, urban fires, rural fires and medical emergencies. I want to be very clear. There is no evacuation order in place. However, we are monitoring the situation because there is risk to residents in the Oaks Estate and employees in the Brindabella Park area. The safest thing you can do is to seek shelter. If people around the ACT are concerned, they are able to go to the Dixon College Relief Centre. Personnel who live in the Oaks Estate area can go to the Campese Oval, and ESA, supported by whole of government, will ensure there are buses there to take those members to the Dixon Relief Centre. The Relief Centre is providing a place for people to wait, receive information and meet up with family and friends who have also been affected by road closures. Please make good benefit of this facility should you wish to. TCCS have advised me that buses have begun arriving at the Campese Oval and will undertake the round trip to Dixon College. This will take approximately 45 minutes, and we will continue to update you on the available services throughout the afternoon.
That is the press conference that was held earlier today. You heard from the Chief Minister, Andrew Barr, and the Emergency Services Minister, Mick Gentleman. And then at the end there was ACT Emergency Controller, Georgina Whelan. You're on ABC Radio Canberra with Paula Kruger and Georgia Steins.
Yeah, you're listening to ABC Local Radio Canberra. Sorry, Paula.
No,
there's a lot of information coming through, as you could all imagine. You're listening to ABC Radio. I'm Georgia Steins. The numbers to get us on is 1300 681 666 or 0467 922 666. We do have a situation that we have an emergency warning in place because of the two fires, the earlier fires that we were covering, the Beard fire and the Callaroo. These two fires have merged. We'll give you some more information on that in a moment. But right now, I think we've got Amanda on the line.
Right now, we're going to go to Atol, who is on Hindmarsh Drive. What are you seeing out there?
Yes. Hi. How are you? I look just heading into Canberra, and it's quite steady rain. In fact, rain that people need to put their wipers on, and you might be able to hear it in the background, so hitting the windscreen. So it's moving east. So with a bit of luck, head towards the fire area.
With a bit of luck, how did you feel when you had to flick on those wipers?
Well, it's wonderful, isn't it? We in Canberra, where I live, we missed out on a fair bit of the rain others got in Curra and that. Of course, we missed out the hail, thank goodness. But it's now raining quite steadily.
Well, on a day that has thrown a lot at us, that is wonderful news to hear. Atol, thanks so much for giving us a call on 1300 681 666. Some drops out there, Georgia.
Yeah, we'll take that, won't we, Paula?
We'll absolutely take
We'll take that rain, although we might just head back to this emergency warning for a moment just to update people if you have just joined us.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
There is an emergency warning still in place. Now, this is for a fire being called the Beard fire. The Callaroo fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest fire have merged. The fire is now called the Beard fire. People in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park, all these people are advised to follow the warnings and information for the Beard fire from now on. Now, people in the Oaks Estate, Beard, Harmon and Crestwood areas, these people should seek shelter immediately. These are people in those areas should seek shelter immediately. If you're not in the area, the advice is do not return. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and they need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous and potentially deadly. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. As you heard earlier from Georgina Whelan, there is not an evacuation order in place. That's not what's in place, but they are telling you that if you're in the area, do not return, and if you are there, it's too late to leave. Now, people in Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park, you still follow this warning, but the advice for you at this moment is to stay up to date and to constantly monitor your conditions, to stay in your location. The current situation is the fire is travelling southeasterly towards Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood. The fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under current conditions, a fire is difficult to control. People in the area may be affected by thick smoke and embers, which will reduce visibility and also air quality. You need to keep up to date. Keep listening to ABC Local Radio. Check the ESA website, esa.act.gov.au. You can also follow the ESA on their Twitter account and also their Facebook account. If you want to monitor fires over the border in the New South Wales region, not in the ACT, but over the border, the best one for that is New South Wales RFS fires near Mia. But for fires within the ACT, you look at the ESA website. Also, stay tuned to ABC Local Radio Canberra. We'll keep you across all the fires in our greater region. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra.
Thanks for that, Georgia. Paula Kruger and Georgia Steins with you this afternoon. Also with you is Noel, who is in Crestwood, which is a suburb of Queanbeyan. Noel, what's going on around you at the moment?
So I was just thought there was a tire fire, and it's blowing smoke, black smoke across the sky. The police dropped by and they advised me to stay inside because it's so toxic.
Oh, so what have you been told? If I could just get you to say that again, Noel, what can you tell me about the smoke?
It's like black smoke that's going in the sky. It was before, but now it's calmed down a bit.
And have you been told exactly where this smoke is from?
It's from the tyre fire, I believe.
Right, and so have you had much of a sense, although you need to block things up and not smell it, obviously, but has the smell already come into your home?
Not yet. We've shut all the doors for now.
Well, that sounds like a good thing to do, Niall. How is everything else looking other than this thick smoke? How else is everything else looking in your area?
So far, there's a lot of bit of traffic going through in front of my street. I think people heading straight into Queanbeyan, but seems to be okay for now. I've got little spots of rain coming in. So
that must be nice to see.
That is nice to see, yeah.
Well, look, here's hoping that there's more than just a few spots for you, and here's hoping your home stays nice and sealed so you don't get any of that black smoke. That was Niall speaking to us there. He's in Crestwood, which is in Queanbeyan, and so he was saying that the smoke has thickened, and he's been told by authorities to stay inside the house and to block it up because that smoke could be toxic.
So that's one of the areas, obviously, Paula, they've been told to seek shelter immediately in the Crestwood area, and that's too late to leave. That's one of those areas, Oaks Estate, Beard, Harmon and Crestwood. But obviously the smoke is there, so the people there are also getting that smoke. If you are unsure of exactly what to do in the bushfires in a situation like this, and you are in one of these suburbs and maybe you haven't experienced one before, you've got access to the internet. There's some great information on the internet as well on things that you should do. But Paula and I will be reminding you as well. You're on ABC Radio Canberra.
And Georgia, with us now is ESA Commissioner Georgina Whelan. Commissioner, what is the latest information you can give us about this emergency level fire?
So obviously the fire remains at emergency level, and as you've outlined, the fire is now called the Beard Fire. We've merged the two fires. We are advising our community in Oaks Estate, Beard, Harmon and Crestwood to seek shelter immediately. We are recommending that it is too late to leave, and that if you are not in the area, do not return. Our view is that the fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path, and people in these suburbs are in danger and need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. We're also saying now that driving is extremely dangerous and potentially deadly.
Commissioner, what advice are you having in regards to weather this afternoon and the impact that may have on the fire?
So the wind conditions continue to remain between 40 and 60 kilometres an hour, and we continue to experience wind gusts up to 90 kilometres an hour. So of course the fire is driving very unpredictable the wind is driving unpredictable fire activity. And of course, we're also monitoring the rural fires to our west, being the Marys Hill, Duns Road and Adaminaby Complex. And we are seeing some hotspots re-emerge in those areas.
Can we just firstly for the Beard Fire, for those people, are you expecting those winds not to die down for the next few hours? Should people still be on high alert?
People should remain on high alert for the next 3 to 4 hours, and we'll keep them updated every 30 minutes.
And if we go over the border on our outskirts to the Adaminaby Complex fires, what's your advice for those people on that fringe there?
Our advice to people on the fringe or the rural fringe of the ACT is to keep up to date with our warnings and also our website and listen into the ABC.
Also, Commissioner, just before we let you go, what resources have you got on the ground at the fire at the moment?
So we have over 25 appliances from the ACT Fire and Rescue Rural Fire Service. We also have Parks and Conservation, and we're being supported by 10 tankers from New South Wales. So we have an overwhelming number of vehicles on the fire ground, and we also have our aerial appliances, Rotary Wing, putting firebombing in as well.
And Commissioner, can you clarify some of the reports that we've been hearing about a factory fire in Beard?
I don't have that detail in front of me, but I can provide more information very shortly.
Just one more question too before we let you go. I know you're extremely busy. Are people mostly heeding the warnings around this area?
We have some people heeding the warnings around the area. Unfortunately, we've had a number of people who have also been abandoning their vehicles and walking. What we are saying to people is just keep out of your car, stay at home, stay safe and adhere to our warnings.
So people have been trying to walk out instead of drive out?
Yes, they have.
And what's happened in that situation?
So what we've advised people to do is to, if they live in the Oaks Estate area or somewhere in that proximity, if they are going to move, please go to the Campese Oval. From there, we've got buses from TCCS that will relocate people to our relief centre at Dixon College.
And Commissioner, is there any concern about the air quality in that area? We understand there's a tyre dump nearby.
Yes, there is a tyre dump nearby, and we are working very closely with ACT Health, and we should be able to provide some information on air quality very shortly.
And in the meantime, is it mainly just getting people to stay indoors, close the place up?
Please stay indoors, please close the place up. please keep hydrated and also remain alert.
Appreciate the update. That is the ACT ESA Commissioner, Georgina Whelan, giving us the latest information that we have available here regarding the fires in our areas.
Just also in regards to those areas, as the Commissioner said there, that people to stay in place in those specific areas and also listen to enforcement on the ground about what to do in the situation. But we'll also keep you up to date here on ABC Local Radio Canberra about the road closures. Don't forget, though, we're here for you, so give us a call, 1300 681 666 0467 922 666.
And you can check the ESA and RFS websites as well.
ABC News with Andrew Messenger. An air tanker has crashed while fighting bushfires in southern New South Wales. Contact was lost with the C-130 over the Snowy Mountains region. A number of helicopters are searching the area to locate the wreckage. In Canberra, the fires burning on either side of Canberra Airport have merged this afternoon, and the fire is continuing to burn at emergency level. Alexandra Alvaro reports.
The Beard fire has now crossed the Molonglo River and is approaching Beard, Oaks Estate and West Queanbeyan. The alert has now been extended to include Harmon. People in those communities have been told it's too late to leave. Evacuees have gathered at the Queanbeyan showground.
We put a couple of things in the car and the dog, and they told us to come down here. So we're just waiting, hopefully, that something good will come of it.
Canberra Airport has stopped departures and arrivals to free the runway for firefighting aircraft. Roads around the airport are closed.
The ESA Commissioner Georgina Whelan has announced the state of alert has now been reinstated for the whole of the ACT.
I would like to thank the ACT government for their support in working to reinstate the territory-wide state of alert. It is in your best interest that we do so for the safety of our community, given the fires in our urban and rural areas.
Weather Bureau duty forecaster Jordan Natara says windy conditions won't ease over the fire grounds in Canberra until late this afternoon.
We are seeing 50 to 60 k an hour mean wind speeds with gusts up to 80 to 90 kilometres an hour. Those are expected to ease as we get towards the afternoon period.
And there is this rolling coverage of the fires on ABC Radio Canberra, 666 on the AM dial, and there's detailed online coverage of the fires at news.abc.net.au. In southern New South Wales, 6 fires are currently burning at emergency level. Hot temperatures and gusty winds have seen existing fires flare up in the Snowy Mountains region, the Bega Valley, and at Clyde Mountain, south of the Kings Highway. 2 others are at watch and act alert. To other news now, and the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, says he's waiting on the outcome of an investigation by his department before determining the fate of Deputy Nationals leader Bridget McKenzie. Mr Morrison has asked the Secretary of Prime Minister and Cabinet to investigate if Senator McKenzie breached ministerial standards in her handling of a $100 million sports grants program. Revelations the Minister awarded a $36,000 grant to a gun club of which she was a member will also form part of the investigation. Mr Morrison says those revelations went beyond earlier Auditor-General findings about the management of the program.
I'm not going to prejudice the outcome of that report. I think that would be unfair to that process and to the Secretary. I'll let him do his job and then I will look at that advice and take whatever actions are necessary.
Efforts continue to find a mine worker feared trapped deep underground on Tasmania's west coast. April McLennan reports.
A thermal imaging drone and a robotic camera will be used in an effort to find a worker missing after a mine collapse at the Henty Gold Mine near Queenstown. The emergency response team will use the information from the drone and the camera to try and locate the worker who was trapped after a collapse. The man's colleagues raised the alarm at around 4 o'clock this morning after they lost contact with him and discovered a section of earth had collapsed. Robert Flanagan from the Australian Workers Union says he hopes rescue efforts will lead to a positive outcome.
Workers are shaken and anxious about
what's occurred.
The name of the mine worker has not been released.
Australia's unemployment rate dropped to 5.1% in December. ABS figures show nearly 29,000 jobs were added in the month, more than economists had forecast. The unemployment rate in the ACT remains steady at 3.1%. To sport in tennis, rain has interrupted play on the outside courts at the Australian Open in Melbourne. Tournament officials were forced to delay matches for hours earlier today after a combination of dust storms and rain left a muddy film on the court. Play was able to start on Rod Laver Arena, where Australia's Ilya Tomljanovic lost in 3 sets to two-time Grand Slam winner Garbina Muguruza. To Canberra's weather, total fire ban and damaging wind alert are current. Windy and with dust haze and the chance of a shower or storm this afternoon. For tomorrow, partly cloudy and 29. Saturday, mostly sunny and 31. And for Sunday, sunny and a top of 34. In the last half hour or so, our peak wind gust only 33 kilometres an hour, so winds are easing. Good news. The top today was 35 degrees. That was 7 above average. And at the moment in Canberra, it's sitting on 28 degrees. ABC News.
You're on ABC Radio Canberra. My name is Paula Kruger and with me is Georgia Stein, and we're just about to give you the latest information we have with regards to emergency warnings in our area.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
This is an emergency warning. The Callaroo Fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest Fire have merged. This fire is now called the Beard Fire. People in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park, they are advised to follow warnings and information for the Beard Fire. People in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood should seek shelter immediately. It is now too late to leave. If you are not in the area, do not return. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger and they need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous and potentially deadly. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. People in Pialigo, Brindabella Business Park should stay up to date and these people should monitor conditions, also to stay in their location. The current situation or the latest information we have is that the fire is travelling in a southeasterly direction towards Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood. The fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene. However, under current conditions, the fire is difficult to control. People in the area may be affected by thick smoke and embers. This will reduce visibility and air quality. Keep up to date by checking the ESA website, esa.gov.au. Follow the ESA Twitter account, ACT ESA and ESA Facebook account. Download and monitor the New South Wales RFS Fires Near Me mobile app. Stay tuned to ABC Local Radio Canberra. You can also follow us on Facebook and also on our Twitter account, and abc.net.au/news is also keeping you up to date with the local situation here in Canberra. We did just speak to the Commissioner, Georgina Whelan, just a short moment ago, just before the news, and she also said that most people are following this advice, but some people have tried to walk out of these areas on foot. They're obviously advising you against that. You're listening to ABC Local Radio Canberra. I'm Georgia and I'm here with Paula Kruger.
Thanks, Georgia. And just looking around our region, according to the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, the Adam Nineveh complex fire is at an emergency level. So fire activity there is increasing. Strong northwesterly winds are being experienced and the fire is spreading quickly towards the area of Adam Nineveh, and it might reach Adam Nineveh area this afternoon. Very soon we'll be getting an update from the Bureau of Meteorology. We've heard reports from callers that there's been some drops of rain, and as you heard Andy say in the news, that it sounds like the wind is dropping off. Good news there, but we'll be getting the word from the Bureau of Meteorology very, very shortly. Also, people trying to get from the city to Woden, from the city and Woden to Queanbeyan via public transport. Suggestion that you check the Q City Transit. It is running as a free service. So Q City Transit is running a free service from the city and Woden to Queanbeyan.
It's also a good time today, if you're someone who's not in the bushfire affected area, just to have a really good think about your bushfire survival plan. Have a look around your house, see how well prepared you would be, and also see how you would be if the power went out, and perhaps get yourself a nice old-fashioned radio with some batteries. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra.
Your fire plan should consider what you'll do if you and your family cannot leave your property and are forced to escape from a burning house during an intense bushfire. You need to think about when you would leave, what you would take, and what you'd do with your pets. Being prepared with contingency plans for different scenarios will help to keep you calm and increase your chances of survival. Keep listening to ABC Radio, your emergency broadcaster.
And with you this afternoon on ABC Radio Canberra, Paula Kruger and Georgia Whelan. And Georgia, you just giving, it's a handy time, as you said, to go through and remind ourselves of what we should be doing in an emergency situation.
There is some great information online. If you're someone who's not on the internet, you could always get a family member to perhaps even print it out for you. But the New South Wales RFS website and also the ESA has some great information about how you prepare for a bushfire, the things you need to do ahead of time, what to do when you're experiencing a bushfire, and also once the fire has passed. But probably just a little reminder to people who may be getting in their vehicles who are in a bushfire area, never try to drive through the thick smoke or fire. You need to park your vehicle off the road in an area clear away from the trees. Turn off your motor, close the doors, windows and air vents, use headlights and hazard lights, lie down below the window level and cover yourself with a blanket, cover your mouth with a damp cloth and call 000. Then once the fire is passed, get out of the car. But as the Commissioner Georgina Whelan said before, please do not walk out of those bushfire areas.
Thanks for that, Georgia. Now let's get the latest from the Bureau of Meteorology. Rose Barr is with you now. She is a senior forecaster with the Bureau of Meteorology. Thanks for being with us, Rose. How are the weather conditions looking right now?
Look, we've still got very strong winds continuing across the ACT region generally. So we've seen winds averaging around 40 to 50 kilometres per hour across the region and generally from the west-northwest direction. Now, the other feature that we've seen very recently coming across has been a few showers, actually. So there are a number of thunderstorms just to the southwest of the ACT, but luckily haven't seen any lightning strikes just yet around the region, which means that we may have seen at least a little bit of rainfall come through in the last maybe half hour or so.
Rosebar, what are the chances of that rain going near our current the current concerns we have with our emergency level fire grounds?
Well, it's entirely plausible that we'll see some rainfall move over the fire ground. However, it looks unlikely at this stage to see really significant totals. So while any rain is wonderful to see, it doesn't look likely that it'll have a really significant impact just yet. That is, however, something that we're going to be talking very closely with the emergency services and fire services around those potential impacts.
You mentioned that we've still got strong winds of about 40 to 50 kilometres an hour. Do we know what are we expecting those winds to die off anytime soon?
Not immediately. We will see an easing in the overnight period, and as we head into the evening, that's particularly true around the Canberra City region. So it's certainly plausible that we start to see those easing off more from, say, 6 or 7 o'clock. We'll continue to see a relatively windy night, but a much more benign conditions on Friday. So our good news is that we are looking at temperatures dropping out to a certain extent, wind speeds decreasing really significantly into Friday, and generally speaking, easing conditions for firefighters.
How variable is the direction of the wind? I mean, how erratic is that this afternoon?
Well, unfortunately, because the winds are so strong and they're coming down from the upper atmosphere, that means that the wind has been behaving in some fairly unusual ways. We've actually been seeing interaction between the mountain ranges and the winds, which has been causing some of these stronger gusts around the area. So around the Canberra area, we've been seeing gusts getting up to around 70 or 80 kilometres per hour even, and further afield they've been much higher than that. Now, the winds have been fairly solidly from the west for most of the day. We'll see a gradual shift in the overnight period to a lighter northwesterly wind, but no significant wind changes coming through until the later parts of Friday.
Thank you for that update, Rose. We'll be hearing from you again throughout the afternoon. That is Rose Barr. She's a senior forecaster at the Weather Bureau, who says although I guess we're all holding out a bit of hope for that rain that some of our callers have been telling us about here at ABC Radio Canberra, but as Rose said, that while it might be heading towards the fire grounds, it may not be significant rain. You're on ABC Radio Canberra with Paula Kruger and Georgia Stein.
And it's a pleasure being with you this afternoon. Remember, you can always get us on 1300 681 666 or 0467 922 666. You should also know too that a warning has been put out in regards to dangerous smoke. So that was something that was touched on by Georgina Whelan with Paula and I a little while ago, and that was in regards to the smoke that's coming from the fire. So they have put out a warning regarding dangerous smoke. The recycling centre in Underwood Street, Beard, has been impacted by the Beard fire. It's producing dangerous levels of smoke. Now, this will reduce visibility and also air quality. If you're in the area or impacted by smoke, you need to stay inside, close all windows and doors, turn off air conditioning, evaporative coolers, and if you're not in the area, do not return. Now, this was something we did ask the Commissioner about, but there wasn't very much information before the news, but this has been put out. This warning has been put out, which is the recycling centre in Underwood Street, Beard, has been impacted by the Beard fire. It's producing dangerous levels of smoke. If you're not sure about what that means for you, the people who would probably be most affected by this sort of situation would be people with pre-existing heart and lung conditions. You should really take extra care during these conditions. If you want more information on things you can do, the ACT Health website does have a lot of information on how you can reduce the impact of smoke, how you can stop it coming into the house. So that is for people with pre-existing heart and lung conditions. An alert has been put out regarding dangerous smoke. Now, that's because that area has been impacted by the Beard fire and there's dangerous level of smoke there. Now, the Callaroo fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest fire, as we have been talking about, those fires have merged and it's called the Beard fire. And that warning level for the Beard fire does remain at an emergency warning, but the new thing that we're telling you just then is that they've just put out some more information about the dangerous smoke, Paula, which is what you touched on before with the Commissioner about the recycling centre actually being impacted by the fire, which is not good news.
Thanks for that, Georgia. And as far as traffic goes, being on the road closures are in place. So Oaks Estate Road and Railway Street entering Oaks Estate remain closed due to the bushfire. Canberra Avenue is closed in both directions near the DFO on at the Hindmarsh Drive intersection there. Several roads are closed around Canberra Airport, including Majura Avenue, Fairburn Avenue. And callers are telling us that the lights are also out. Also reports from you, callers, on 1300 681 666 that the traffic lights are out on Hindmarsh Drive between Monaro Highway and Stretton Drive at Western. Also, there have been multiple vehicle accidents on Federal Highway near Collector, south of Goulburn. Emergency services are on the scene, but, there's low visibility out there because of smoke. Queanbeyan Showgrounds are open for evacuations. And telling us, we're lucky that Mark has given us a call. He's going to tell us what the roads are like where he is. Where exactly are you, Mark?
Oh, hi. At the moment, I'm in Canberra. The roads are fine in Canberra, and so are the traffic lights. I can confirm that the rain has stopped, though, so don't get your hopes up about the rain. But I was in Fyshwick earlier when I texted you, and I think the whole grid's down in Fyshwick, so none of the traffic lights are working. They're not even flashing, and people seem to be just hurtling through them, so people need to slow right down, think about what they're doing and give way to other people, because I saw about 3 or 4 very near misses, including some with police cars, in the time I was there, which was about an hour or so ago. But mainly just don't go there. Don't go to Fyshwick.
Okay, don't go to Fyshwick. It wasn't looking good when you were there an hour or so ago. So you were seeing a lot of lights out there, Mark.
Every single light from once you cross the Monaro Highway from the Kingston area. Kingston lights were on. As soon as you crossed over, every single thing was down. So driving in Fyshwick's hectic at the best of times, and then with no lights, it's not good. So if people are listening, just slow right down or don't go there. And I guess that goes for anywhere where the lights go down, which could happen.
We appreciate that warning, Mark. That's Mark letting us know that a lot of lights are out in Fyshwick, and ABC Canberra has been getting a lot of reports of traffic lights out along Hindmarsh Drive between Monaro Highway and Stretton Drive. You're on ABC Radio Canberra. My name is Paula Kruger, and with you is Georgia Stein as well.
You can add that to the areas that we prefer people not to go to, I think. Fyshwick, Pialago, there's quite a few of them. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra.
Oh, sorry, I accidentally pressed your button there, Georgia. My apologies. But earlier there was a presser by Commissioner Georgina Whelan, and we're just going to have a little bit of a listen to some of that. It was just before 2 p.m. that we spoke to the Commissioner here on ABC Radio Canberra.
The fire remains at emergency level, and as you've outlined, the fire is now called the Beard Fire. We've merged the two fires. We are advising our community in Oaks Estate, Beard, Harmon and Crestwood to seek shelter immediately. We are recommending that it is too late to leave, and that if you are not in the area, do not return. Our view is that the fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path, and people in these suburbs are in danger and need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. We're also saying now that driving is extremely dangerous and potentially deadly.
Commissioner, what advice are you having in regards to weather this afternoon and the impact that may have on the fire?
So the wind conditions continue to remain between 40 and 60 kilometres an hour, and we continue to experience wind gusts up to 90 kilometres an hour. So of course the fire is driving very unpredictable the wind is driving unpredictable fire activity, and of course we're also monitoring the rural fires to our west, being the Marys Hill, Duns Road and Adaminibi complex, and we are seeing some hotspots re-emerge in those areas.
Can we just firstly for the Beard Fire, for those people, are you expecting those winds not to die down for the next few hours? Should people still be on high alert?
People should remain on high alert for the next 3 to 4 hours, and we'll keep them updated every 30 minutes.
And if we go over the border on our outskirts to the Adaminibi complex fires, what's your advice for those people on that fringe there?
Our advice to people on the fringe or the rural fringe of the ACT is to keep up to date with our warnings and also our website, and listen into the ABC.
Also, Commissioner, just before we let you go, what resources have you got on the ground at the fire at the moment?
So we have over 25 appliances from the ACT Fire and Rescue Rural Fire Service. We also have Parks and Conservation, and we're being supported by 10 tankers from New South Wales. So we have an overwhelming number of vehicles on the fire ground, and we also have our aerial appliances, Rotary Wing, putting firebombing in as well.
And Commissioner, can you clarify some of the reports that we've been hearing about a factory fire in Beard?
I don't have that detail in front of me, but I can provide more information very shortly.
Just one more question too before we let you go. I know you're extremely busy. Are people mostly heeding the warnings around this area?
We have some people heeding the warnings around the area. Unfortunately, we've had a number of people who have also been abandoning their vehicles and walking. What we are saying to people is just keep out of your car, stay at home, stay safe, and adhere to our warnings.
So people have been trying to walk out instead of drive out?
Yes, they have.
And what's happened in that situation?
So what we've advised people to do is to, if they live in the Oaks Estate area or somewhere in that proximity, if they are going to move, please go to the Campese Oval. From there, we've got buses from TCCS that will relocate people to our relief centre at Dixon College.
And Commissioner, is there any concern about the air quality in that area? We understand there's a tyre dump nearby.
Yes, there is a tyre dump nearby, and we are working very closely with ACT Health, and we should be able to provide some information on air quality very shortly.
And in the meantime, is it mainly just getting people to stay indoors, close the place up?
Please stay indoors, please close the place up, please keep hydrated, and also remain alert.
That was Commissioner Georgina Whelan speaking to Georgia Steins and myself, Paula Kruger, just before the 3 o'clock news. She was talking about the smoke there. Well, Georgia Steins has an updated warning on that. What's the latest, Georgia?
I will do that too, Paula, and also after that we'll give you the latest emergency warning for the fire, because it has also just been released a couple of moments ago. But just on the smoke as well, because a warning has gone out. This is through ACT Health and the ESA today. Now, we did touch on that with the Commissioner about the recycling centre. We have had confirmation the recycling centre in Underwood Street, Beard, has been impacted by the Beard fire. Now, the result of that is that it's producing dangerous levels of smoke. Now, that is going to reduce visibility, but it's also going to seriously reduce air quality in the region. If you are in that area or impacted by smoke, you need to stay inside. You need to close all windows and doors. You need to turn off the air conditioning and evaporative coolers. If you're not in the area, please do not return. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. Now, people who are sensitive to smoke, these are the people that need to be particularly careful, especially those with pre-existing heart and lung conditions. You need to take extra care during this situation. You can visit ACT Health for information on ways you can reduce the impact of smoke. You can go to thehealthact.gov.au. Now, the Callaroo fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest fire, they have merged, and this is at an emergency level. You're listening to ABC Local Radio.
ABC Radio. Emergency information.
You're listening to ABC Local Radio. Paula and I have been keeping you up to date with this fire all afternoon. The ESA has just released the latest warning for the emergency fire. Now, this fire is actually being called the Beard Fire. The latest information that I have at the moment is that the Callaroo fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest fire, that those fires have merged and have become the Beard fire. People in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialigo, Brindabella Business Park, all these people are advised to follow warnings for the Beard fire. People in Beard, Oaks Estate and Crestwood, seek shelter immediately. If you are listening in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood, you need to seek shelter immediately. It is now too late for you to leave. If you're not in the area, do not return. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. People in these suburbs are in danger. They need to seek immediate shelter as the fire approaches. Driving now is extremely dangerous and it's potentially deadly. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. People in Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park, please stay up to date and monitor the current conditions. You also should stay in your current location. Now, the current situation is that this fire is travelling southeasterly towards Beard, Harmons, Oaks Estate and Crestwood. This fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene, but under the current conditions, this fire is difficult to control. People in the area may be affected by thick smoke and embers, which will reduce visibility and air quality. Please keep up to date by checking the ESA website, esa.gov.au, their Twitter and also their Facebook accounts. You can also, if you are monitoring the fires outside the ACT borders into New South Wales, look at the New South Wales RFS Fires Near Me mobile app. For fires within the ACT borders, you need to go to the ESA. Keep listening to ABC Radio because we'll keep you up to date with both those fires. And also, if you want to know about roads, there are several road closures and police are asking, as are our emergency services, please avoid the area. If you are not in the area where these fires are impacting, please do not attempt to enter these areas. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra.
Thanks for that, Georgia. And Bob is in Woden. And Bob, you've had a look at Hindmarsh Drive lately.
Yeah, I've just come through there. The lights are out at Street and Drive, but everywhere else up the road, and they're all operating fine.
And how is traffic along that road, even with the lights out?
Well, that's building up a bit down at Street and Drive, but the rest of it's all right.
We had some of the callers earlier had some concerning reports about how people are driving through these intersections when the lights are out. Did things look okay when you were in those areas?
Yeah.
Well, look, we appreciate your update, Bob. Thanks for that. That's Bob giving us a call on 1300 681 666. And you can also send us a text on 0467 922 666 if you see something that you think we should know about here on ABC Radio Canberra.
And also, Paul, it's good to sort of have a chat about with your family and friends. If you are in an area right now that's not directly impacted by fire, maybe just go over your bushfire plan again. Maybe around the dinner table tonight, have a chat to your friends and family and say, this is what I think we should do. Also have a think about pets. What would you do in the situation if you were impacted by fire? Great information up on our emergency services websites, also on the New South Wales RFS website. and also about how to prepare, the sort of things you should do if you are caught in a bushfire. Some of the things that I certainly didn't know about before I worked at the ABC, which is the sort of clothing, protective clothing you should wear, sturdy footwear, clothing, gloves, hats, things made by natural fibres. These are some of the things that you should do. And the advice that comes through again and again when we cover these emergency situations is leaving early is always the safest option, and being prepared and planning, like some of our callers who we spoke to earlier who had their house fully prepared. They had all their water out ready to go. They'd already rescued some animals that they thought may not be able to escape, so they'd got them inside the house. It seems to be the best way to go.
Absolutely. I'm looking at you, Judy. I still haven't forgotten you. On ABC Radio Canberra, we've heard that people trying to get from the city and Woden to Queanbeyan via public transport, why don't you check the Q City Transit? We understand it is running as a free service. So if you're trying to get from the city and Woden to Queanbeyan via public transport, check the Q City Transit. It is running as a free service. And Georgia, just before we go to the news, can you just remind us of that smoke warning again of that came out just about an hour ago?
Yeah, I can. So the emergency services, in conjunction with ACT Health, have released a warning. It's called an information update for dangerous smoke. It's due to the recycling centre in Underwood Street in Beard. Now, that's been impacted by the fire. It's producing dangerous levels of smoke, which you can imagine. Now, that's going to reduce visibility, but probably also very important is the air quality. So if you're in the area and you are the sort of person that does get impacted by smoke, you need to stay inside. You need to close all your windows and doors. You need to stop the air getting in under those windows and doors, make them airtight, turn off your air conditioning, turn off your evaporative coolers. And if you're not in the area, it's really important you don't return. You need to call 000 if your life is under threat. People with lung and heart conditions, be careful.
You also need to stay on ABC Radio after the news at 3:30. Georgia Stein will be with you with Anna.
ABC News with Andrew Messenger. An air tanker has crashed while fighting bushfires in southern New South Wales. Contact was lost with the C-130 over the Snowy Mountains region. A number of helicopters are searching the area to locate the wreckage. An ACT-wide state of alert has been reissued as the Beard bushfire at Pielago threatens communities in Canberra and across the New South Wales border. The fire is burning close to the Canberra airport, and those in Beard, Oaks Estate, Crestwood and Harmon have been told it's too late to leave. The recycling centre in Underwood Street, Beard, has been affected by fire and is producing dangerous levels of thick smoke. The Emergency Services Commissioner, Georgina Whelan, says the fire is unpredictable.
The weather conditions have been challenging and changing rapidly, and we are continuing to respond to the fires as best we can in our efforts to contain the fire spread and to keep our community safe.
In New South Wales, the Rural Fire Service is warning the fire danger across the state is peaking, with 6 fires burning at emergency level. Jessica Kidd reports.
An emergency warning has been declared for the Creewa Road fire in the Glen Allen area west of Bega. Residents near New Line Road and Creewa Road have been told it's too late to leave. Emergency warnings are also in place for the Adaminaby Complex fire in the Snowy Mountains, the Big Jack Mountain Road fire east of Bombala, the Badger Forest Road fire between Bega and Maruya, and the Clyde Mountain fire west of Batemans Bay. The Rural Fire Service says embers are being blown ahead of the Clyde Mountain fire, and there is an immediate threat to homes in the Maruya, West Maruya, Mogandjura and Womban areas. Another 4 fires across the state are at watch and act.
To other news now, and the Foreign Affairs Department is warning Australians to reconsider their need to travel to Wuhan in China after the outbreak of coronavirus. The official travel advice for China has been upgraded this morning, noting measures put in place by Chinese authorities to try to stop the spread of the virus. It includes advice to wear masks in public places and avoiding travel in and out of Wuhan. Tasmania Police say although there has been no contact with the missing worker of a mine rockfall in Tasmania's west coast, they are hopeful he's still alive. April McLennan reports.
The miner was about a 20-minute descent underground at the Henty Gold Mine near Queenstown when his colleagues lost contact with him at around 4 o'clock this morning. They discovered a section of earth had collapsed and raised the alarm. Officers from the police bomb response group are using a robotic camera underground, and the force's chief pilot has been using a thermal imaging drone to search the collapsed area in an effort to locate the man. Police Inspector Shane Lefevre says the mine is extremely dark and dangerous.
We're positive that he's certainly still with us, and we hope to get him out in the next half hour or an hour if possible.
The name of the mine worker has not been released, but he's believed to be a Queenstown local.
A Canberra woman will fight allegations she assaulted her son's ex-girlfriend at the Woden bus interchange earlier this month. Michael Inman reports.
Police allege the woman was with her teenage son when they saw his ex-girlfriend in Woden on January 12. The trio exchanged insults and the woman allegedly pushed the 16-year-old girl. Her son is alleged to have then stabbed the girl. The 37-year-old pleaded not guilty in the ACT Magistrates Court today to assault charges, claiming she was the victim and CCTV would clear her of wrongdoing. Chief Magistrate Glenn Theakston refused the woman's bail application today. She will next appear in court next month.
To sport and in cycling, Australia's Richie Port has taken control of the Tour Down Under with a powerhouse climb to the finish on stage 3 through the Adelaide Hills. Port now leads the 6-stage race overall by 6 seconds from two-time defending champion Daryl Impey. In rugby, the Brumbies have named a near full-strength side to take on the Melbourne Rebels in their one and only Super Rugby trial being played this evening in Albury. Speaking to Fox Sports at today's Super Rugby season launch, Brumbies coach Dan McKellar said after a tough pre-season, the playing squad is looking forward to today's games.
It's always good to get out to the country areas and connect with country rugby. It's certainly it's nice to be back down to Albury and connect with our country community.
And to Canberra's weather now, and total fire ban and damaging winds alerts are both current. The forecast, a windy day with dust haze and the chance of showers or storms. Tomorrow should be partly cloudy with a top of 29. Saturday mostly sunny and 31, and Sunday sunny and 34. Winds currently gusting to 44 kilometres an hour. Today's top 35, and at the moment in Canberra it's 29 degrees. For these stories and more, go to news.abc.net.au.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
It's Anna Vito joining you on ABC Radio Canberra this afternoon as we continue to bring you emergency updates and information relating to the Beard fire. This is the two fires in Pielago which have merged. So the name for updates that you're looking for is the Beard fire. Just as I walked into the studio, we had another update from the ESA, but the information about the fire remains the same. Just repeating, this is an emergency warning for the Beard fire. This is for people in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pielago and Brindabella Business Park. Here's what you need to know. If you're in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood, you should be seeking shelter immediately. It's too late to leave. It's dangerous in your area and we know a number of roads are closed. So if you're in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood, seek shelter immediately where you are. If you're not in that area, do not return to that area. Don't head to that area this afternoon. If you're in Pielago and Brindabella Business Park, you're being advised to stay where you are, stay up to date and monitor conditions. Follow ACT policing directions to safely exit the area if that's what you choose to do. You can stay in your location unless directed by ACT policing to leave the area. We'll continue to bring you updates here on ABC Radio Canberra, so keep listening to us. If you need to change locations and you need a different way to listen to the radio, you can find us on your phone with the ABC Listen app. You can also find us on a television if you've got one in your vicinity on Channel 25. And if you can tell us what you're seeing, 1300 681 666 is the number to call. 1300 681 666. if you can tell us what's happening where you are. We've had a few people sending us pictures showing huge plumes of very dark smoke coming from the recycling centre in Beard. Georgia Steins is with me in the studio as well. Georgia, we had an alert to watch out for smoke and we're getting it.
We did too. Hi, Anna. Yeah, there is a dangerous smoke. This is an alert that's come from the emergency services, also in conjunction with ACT Health. So that's the recycling centre in Underwood Street, Beard. Now that's been impacted by the fire. It's producing dangerous levels of smoke. Actually, if you go on the ESA website, you can actually see a picture of it, and the smoke it's quite an incredible picture, actually. This is going to reduce visibility and air quality if you live or work in that area. Now, firefighters are working to extinguish the fire, but if you're in the area or impacted by the smoke, you really need to do a number of things. You need to stay inside. You need to close all your windows and doors. You need to turn off your air conditioner. Definitely turn off your evaporative cooler. If you're not in the area, the key advice here is stay wherever you are and don't return. Call 000 if your life is under immediate threat. And people who are sensitive to smoke, especially those with pre-existing heart and lung conditions, you need to take care during this situation with this dangerous smoke. You can go to the health.act.gov.au website.
And we know that there are a lot of roads closed around, well, actually right around the city, don't we, Georgia? I mean, there are power outages from all over the place. We're going to see if we can get an update on those from Evo Energy for you, so stay tuned. But that does also mean that there are roads closed, particularly around that fire area. You want to obey police as you encounter them, but be advised that if you're not in that area, the whole Majura area, pretty much from the airport right through to Queanbeyan, just don't go there. If you're from that area, you're currently not home, don't head home. If you need somewhere to go, obviously you can go to like the shopping centre in town, but if you do need somewhere to go, the Dixon Relief Centre is still open. This is at Dixon College. It's the recovery and relief centre that was set up when everyone was being directed to leave the South Coast a couple of weeks ago. So if you do need somewhere safe to go, that is an excellent place to go. Speaking of the roads though, I think we've lost Mark from Yarralumla. Mark gave us a call wanting people to drive a bit more safely and calmly. Georgia,
that would be nice, wouldn't it, Anna?
I think so.
I think the other thing too, though, if you're one of these people that's decided that you might in fact just head out of town, perhaps to go stay out of town, there has been issues on the roads getting out as well. So there was an earlier accident on the federal highway, but police are repeatedly saying, please don't come anywhere near the areas impacted by fires. We've also had callers saying don't come to Fishwick either. So there's issues in Fishwick, there's issues in obviously Oaks Estate and Beard and those, there's issues in and around Queanbeyan. So this is probably a situation too that if you're in the office, you've got a friend who lives in Queanbeyan, maybe offer them a bed for the night. I think there will be a lot of people that probably best not to head back towards Queanbeyan until we at least know what the situation will be. And Anna, we spoke to the Bureau of Meteorology before and also to Georgina Whelan, and the advice is that this wind is not going to die down for the next few hours. So we're in this situation at the moment where this is still a volatile situation in terms of the fire. So, don't maybe delay your thing by half an hour or an hour and maybe make other plans for this evening.
And now's probably a good time, exactly as you say, to do that. Start thinking about what you can do for this evening already is probably a really good idea.
Get the best bed you can. Maybe the boss's bed.
Exactly. While you're at work, start asking around about people who might be able to help you out this evening. Also worth pointing out that the Queanbeyan Showground is open for evacuations as well if you do need somewhere else to go. I'm just going to run through a few of the things we know about what's happening on the roads as well, because there's a lot to know about. So the main closures, of course, are in that immediate fire affected area, and the roads that are closed are Oaks Estate Road and Railway Street entering Oaks Estate. Those remain closed. Canberra Avenue is closed in both directions near the DFO. That's the Hindmarsh Drive intersection. Canberra Avenue closed in both directions. Several roads are also closed around Canberra Airport, including Majura Avenue and Fairbairn Avenue. Callers are also telling us that traffic lights are out in that area as well. This is, of course, in addition to Pialago Avenue, which I think is still closed as well. I'll double check that. I can't imagine it would possibly be open. We've also had reports from callers about traffic lights out from Hindmarsh Drive between Monero Highway and Streeton Drive at West Western. Monero Highway is very heavy heading south, quite possibly due to the knock-on effect of Canberra Avenue being closed. So if you're in that area, be patient, take a deep breath. A lot of other people also in a very stressed situation, just like you. Take it easy so that you keep yourself safe this evening as well. There has already been a multi-vehicle accident on the Federal Highway near Collector, just south of Goulburn on the other side of the city, with emergency services on the scene there. Low visibility in a lot of places because of that smoke as well, especially now with that particularly dark and heavy smoke coming from the recycling centre in Beard. So keep your lights on, keep your speed low, keep your wits about you, and just keep safe.
The other thing we should probably do too, Anna, is just let people know that emergency warning. Now, this is outside our borders still, but that's the Adam Minnaby complex bushfire that has just been updated recently. Now, the Commissioner, Georgina Whelan, did actually talk about that as well to say, look, they are closely monitoring it. There has been a lot of fire activity there today because of the wind. So the current situation for those people who live on the outskirts of the ACT or live near that, I know that a lot of people are concerned about that fire and the situation. The warning that was issued just about 10 or 15 minutes ago says that the fire activity is increasing at that fire. That's the Adam Minnaby complex fire, or the Snowy Mountain area. Now, the strong northwesterly winds are being experienced. The fire is quickly heading towards the area of Adam Minnaby, and the fire may reach them this afternoon. So that's that latest. Now, areas including Shannon's Flat, Anglers Reach, Old Adam Minnaby, and I think it's Bobbian Road may come under threat. If you're in this area, you need to seek shelter as the fire approaches and protect yourself from the heat of the fire. Now, the Commissioner said to keep an eye if you're people who live on that just over the border in our listening area, but just over the border, and you're concerned about that, keep up to date with the New South Wales RFS website. But Anna, you and I'll keep them up to date on that as well. But for the ACT fires, it's really important to know not to go to the RFS website, but to go to the ESA website.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of people getting in touch with us about that actually, so that's worth clarifying. If you're in the ACT and you've done the right thing and you've set up your Fires Near Me app so that you're getting alerts, that's great. But the thing you need to know about the Fires Near Me app, if you're in the ACT borders, is that the definitive source of information for fires within the ACT remains the ESA. So you might be getting alerts from Fires Near Me, which are a useful sort of hint to you to check the ESA website and to check the ESA social media feeds. If you're not, or if you're on one of the social media platforms, Twitter or Facebook, if you're not already following the ESA, now's a really good time to do that, because there have been a couple of cases where something's popped up on the Fires Near Me app, which is out of date information. So it might be a fire that's already out, for example, but it's still showing up on the Fires Near Me app. If you go to the ESA website, it will be the most up-to-date information for fires within the ACT border. So if you do get that ping, that's a really useful reminder to go and check the ESA sources of information. And also, of course, keep listening to us here on ABC Radio Canberra as well.
And if you are one of those people that live in that area, if you're a rural landowner, I'm sure you've already got a fire plan. A lot of them really do. But the other thing too is just maybe to keep aware of that and just get it ready.
The other thing that I will just mention at this point too, it's awful actually, but regarding the Adam Minnaby complex, we know that the large air tanker, one of the water tankers, was sent down there to fight the fire a little bit earlier today. The New South Wales Rural Fire Service has said that they've lost contact with that plane and they're worried that it may have crashed. There are Army helicopters searching for it at the moment. We're expecting an update from the RFS about that with the New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian around 4 o'clock. We will bring you updates on that situation as we get them. But for you, if you're listening to me right now, the important thing for you to know that while that Adam Minnaby complex fire is at emergency level, it is still outside the borders of the ACT. It is not into the Namadgi National Park. We'll keep an eye on it as well, but the important thing for you to know at the moment is that that fire does not actually immediately threaten the ACT area at all.
Yeah, it's really good advice, Anna. You're listening to ABC Radio Canberra. I'm Georgia Steins and you're with Anna Vito.
And just a little bit earlier this afternoon, we heard an update from ACT officials too, talking about this Beard fire. This is the emergency fire burning in the Pialago area towards places like Beard at the moment. Here's a little of what what the Fire and Rescue Chief Officer Mark Brown had to say a little bit earlier this afternoon.
And I'd like to give everyone an update on the firefighting operations at the Beard fire. That fire broke out just before 11 o'clock this morning and is heading in a southeasterly direction towards Queanbeyan. It is joined up with the Pielago fire, and as has already been stated, it's now referred to as the Beard fire. It is 278 hectares in size at the moment, and there are currently 45 firefighting vehicles and crews at work on this fire, and they comprise firefighters from ACT Rural Fire Service, ACT Fire and Rescue, ACT Parks and Conservation Service, New South Wales Fire and Rescue and New South Wales Rural Fire Service, as well as units from the Aviation Rescue and Firefighting Service from Canberra Airport. They are being coordinated from 3 sector command points around the territory, and areas of concern for firefighters include the Canberra Concrete Recycling Facility, the water treatment plant, the electricity substation near Queanbeyan, and in particular those residential areas in Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Harmon, and the factory and recycling area in Beard. I'll just go through the current warnings. As has already been stated, this fire is at emergency warning level. People in Oaks Estate, Beard, Harmon and Crestwood should seek shelter immediately. It is now too late to leave your property. If you are not in the area, do not return to those areas. The fire may pose a threat to everyone in its path, and people in those suburbs are in danger and need to seek shelter immediately as the fire approaches. Driving is also now extremely dangerous and potentially deadly, and people should call 000 if they feel they are under immediate threat. People in Pielago and the Brindabella Business Park should stay up to date and monitor conditions, and do that through the ESA website or media that they can access, and they should stay in their location.
That's Mark Brown, the Fire and Rescue Chief Officer with the ESA, speaking at about 2:30 this afternoon, but the information he's giving there is still current. That's still the latest information regarding that emergency level Beard fire. You can give me a call and let me know what you're seeing, what things are looking like in your area. Of course, please make sure you are safe, first of all, and then give us a call. 1300 681 666 is the number to do that. On the line with us this afternoon is Judy. Judy, you're on Uriara Road, I understand.
Yes, I am, and thank you for calling. So the update is it's sunny, there is no rain, there are a lot of fire trucks coming and going. The black plume of smoke that we noticed about an hour ago has dissipated somewhat, but it's now heading in our direction. There are helicopters overhead down near the sort of tannery area from what I can gather. The wind seems to have died down a bit, and we sit in wait.
Here's hoping that wind continues to die down. Absolutely, Judy. We'd heard, of course, about this very heavy smoke associated with the recycling plant. Are you seeing that where you are?
Yes. When it first plumed, it was very black, and it headed sort of past us towards Queanbeyan City proper. It has now gone to a more of a murky, purpley grey, and it's heading sort of southeast towards us.
Judy, you did call in and speak to us earlier. It's nice to hear you again and know that you're doing okay. Have you still got all the animals inside with you?
Yes, I do, and thanks so much. And I've been also interviewed for the PM program tonight.
Oh, have you? We'll hear a lot of Judy today. Are your bushfire preparation though is holding up, I understand?
Yes, and we had the RFS walk up and down our path and check that our prep was good, and we are moving our watering system around and using our tank water, so it's not going to deplete for any later firefighting on the Queanbeyan side.
Are they still using your loo, and have you got enough, paper and stuff?
Of course.
That's a great relief, Judy. You don't need to be running out of loo paper on top of everything else. My goodness.
We need a bit of light relief in a situation like this. It's nice to hear your voice again. You still sound nice and upbeat.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. But it's so strange with the sun out now, knowing the situation.
Yeah.
It's only a kilometre down the road, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you stay safe, Judy. Thank you so much for updating us. Thank you.
And just before you go, I was at Brindabella Park at work, and I saw fire out the window, and so I left work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fair enough.
Two fires have merged.
Yeah, a very hairy time for a lot of people.
I hope my co-workers aren't trapped there.
No, well, in
the
fact,
road closures.
Well, and I think the advice is you can leave if you're being directed to by ACT policing, but they're not evacuating those areas. So if your colleagues are at Brindabella Business Park, if you're listening to us from the business park, there is no reason for you to sort of leave there urgently, is the latest information that we have.
I agree, because of the wind, it's pressed the two fires together heading this way rather than to the Brindabella Park.
That's right. Yeah, stay somewhere safe where you can. Thank you so much, Judy. You stay safe. Thank you.
All the best, and thanks for calling.
Thank you, Judy, there on Uriara Road. Doing pretty well. And very upbeat, actually, Georgia.
She's got the RFS there, but for people who didn't hear the earlier call, they came in and said, "Well, you've done a pretty good job." So she got a bit of a thumbs up. As a lot of people she said there's a lot of bush around them, so they have got very prepared. We did hear earlier too from Canberra Airport about flights being cancelled around that area. So if anyone's got an update around there, or your flight has been cancelled, or perhaps you're even around the airport, I'd love to hear from you for the latest.
I'd be really interested to hear from you. What I will say is that if you are not in the area of the airport, that is the best place for you to be, which is to say not near the airport. Stay away from the airport as much as you possibly can. We have got an update on some road information, actually. Michael from Fairburn has given us a bell. G'day, Michael. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I just left Fairburn Park, heading past Brindabella, and that road has now been opened, so people can exit that area and head in a west direction. And yeah, that just happened probably about 20 minutes ago.
So Fairburn Avenue heading west from Sherber Avenue reopened?
Yes, so only in a westerly direction. So you can't go back into that area, but people can exit that area now. So,
that is good to know. What did you see on your way out, Michael?
They're doing a lot of mopping up on the side of the road, so the fires come right up to the edge of the road near the airport there. And, so the guys are just mopping up, and there's 2 helicopters doing some tidying up as well.
Yeah, they've got a busy afternoon ahead of them still, I think. Glad you're safe. Michael, thank you for the road update.
No problem.
Thank you. Michael from Fairburn. So Fairburn Avenue heading west from Sherber Avenue has reopened, only in a westerly direction though, so you can get out. But please, still the best advice that we have is that if you are not in that airport area, stay away from that airport area.
Yeah, and Anna, the other thing too people should probably be aware of in regards to the airport is the last update that they've put out on their Twitter and their Facebook page is that the airport is not being evacuated. It has not been evacuated, but that flights have been affected, and it depends on what carrier you're with. So you actually just need to go onto the website, whether it's all the different airlines, and that's really the best way to do it. But just to say it hasn't been evacuated.
Yeah, no. So that's the good news. It's sort of closed but not evacuated is what we were hearing. So a lot of flights
not business as usual.
Not business as usual. Check with your carrier. If you're expecting somebody, check on what the status of their flight is. We've heard from people already who are expecting, in some cases, unaccompanied children, that those flights had been turned back to their destination of Melbourne. So just before you try and get anywhere near the airport, think about very seriously whether you need to, and certainly check with your carriers as well. If you have seen something that you can update us on, road closures, what you're seeing around your place, as long as you're in a safe place yourself, 1300 681 666 is the number to call. With us is our ABC reporter Tom Lowry, who's just leaving Beard. G'day, Tom. Where do we find you this afternoon?
Yeah, good afternoon, Anna. We left Beard about 5 minutes ago, and we're just on the Lanyon Drive now, trying to head back into Canberra. As we left, it was a bit of a kind of strange situation because the fire had really burned around the outskirts of Beard some time ago, but I think it's a scrap metal recycling yard just sort of outside of Beard. That's obviously going up, and it's producing that really thick column of black smoke people can probably see from just about all over the ACT at this point. And it seemed like the fire crews are really devoting most of their attention on that and trying to get that under control because obviously, that's a pretty dangerous situation. We can hear things exploding in there. I'm guessing sort of, petrol tanks in scrap cars. But, it also produced that awful smoke that was produced. It's just sending over so much of Queanbeyan and really nasty stuff.
Yeah, and just reiterating, there is that sort of alert out about that dangerous smoke as well. If you're in that Beard area, because of the recycling centre burning in Beard, you're being advised to stay inside, close all your windows and doors, turn off air conditioning, evaporative coolers. If you're not in the area, stay away from the area. Tom, anything else you can shed some light on while we've got you?
Yeah, I guess pleasingly it seemed like most people had left the Beard area. There were a few business owners still around the place as we were going, some looking after their properties, but most had already sort of fought that fight already because the fire had burned right up to their properties. So thankfully, as far as we could tell, hadn't impacted any of those businesses within the industrial estate itself. Obviously, that scrap metal yard, it's certainly a different story. One other strange sight we found in the Beard area was a herd of goats that had been placed inside one of the car parks at one of these businesses. And I think these are the sort of the famous ACT working goats that deal with a lot of the weeds around the area. They've been in the creek not far from Beard as the fire was approaching. So the goat herder, who we had a chat to, Elizabeth, she sort of rounded them up real quick, threw them in the back of the ute, and found a friendly business in there who was happy to have them with a couple of bales of hay to try and ride this one out.
Well, that sounds like a good place for them. I'm reaching back into my rural reporter roots, and always the middle of a freshly ploughed paddock was always the advice. So a car park sounds like a good semi-suburban substitute.
Let me tell you, they were the most relaxed people or animals in the area, that's for sure.
Oh, well, that's good to hear that they found somewhere safe for them. Tom, thank you very much for the update.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. Tom Lowry, ABC reporter, with an update on that awful smoke that you are probably experiencing too if you're in that area. But good to know that the goats are doing all right, Georgia, as well.
Yeah, your heart does really go out for animals at this point. And also people who have pets, because when a bushfire approaches, you can work out what you're going to do, but it's not always easy to put a horse or a goat.
Indeed.
They have updated the emergency warning to Anna, so we might want to let people know about that. This is regarding the fire, so it's the same information which appears to have been, but they just keep on re-releasing it. I think just to make people aware that the situation has not changed. This is an emergency level warning. It's a Callaroo fire and the Pialigo Redwood Forest fire, which we've been talking about, keeping you up to date with. It's now called the Beard Fire. People in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, Pialigo and Brindabella Business Park, they're all advised to follow warnings and information for the Beard Fire. So if you're in Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate, Crestwood, the information remains the same, which is seek shelter immediately. It's too late for you to leave. If you're not in the area, do not return. The fire may pose a threat to all lives directly in its path. Driving now is extremely dangerous.
You're listening to Georgia Steins and me, Anna Vito, on ABC Radio Canberra. More updates for you after the 4 o'clock news. Might go through some of the power outages around town affected by the fire, but also by heavy winds that we're seeing, of course, across the ACT as well. For now, though, on ABC Radio Canberra, it's time for the news at 4 o'clock.
ABC News with Andrew Messenger. A large water bombing plane has crashed while fighting a blaze in southern New South Wales. Emily Lawrence reports.
The New South Wales Rural Fire Service says contact was lost with the large air tanker which was working in the Snowy Monero area. Local RFS crews also reported seeing the plane come down. It had been flying over remote bushland northeast of Cooma. A number of helicopters are now carrying out a search. Wind gusts of nearly 100 kilometres an hour have been recorded in the area. An emergency warning is in place for a fire continuing to burn towards Adaminaby in the Snowy Monero region.
In Canberra, a large emergency-level bushfire burning towards the New South Wales border near Queanbeyan has so far burnt out more than 400 hectares. Alexandra Alvaro reports.
The fires burning on either side of the Canberra airport have now combined into one, known as the Beard Fire. It's approaching Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood. Authorities are expecting to fight the fire overnight. ESA Commissioner Georgina Whelan says one firefighter received minor injuries.
That firefighter was removed from the fire ground, provided medical support and evaluated, and he will continue on the fire ground this afternoon.
Police don't believe the fires were deliberately started.
There's rolling coverage of the fires on ABC Radio Canberra 666 on the AM dial, and there's detailed online coverage on news.abc.net.au. Across the border, and 6 fires are currently at emergency level in southern New South Wales. Hot temperatures and gusty winds have seen existing fires flare up in the Snowy Mountains region, the Bega Valley, and at Clyde Mountain, south of the Kings Highway. 2 other fires are at watch and act alert. To other news now, and health officials are investigating whether a case of coronavirus has emerged in Sydney. Miles Holbrook-Walk reports.
The virus has spread to several countries and cities beyond Wuhan, and now health officials are trying to determine if a person in New South Wales has a case of the deadly disease. New South Wales Chief Health Officer Dr. Kerry Chant says there is currently 1 case under investigation, but no one from a flight that landed in Sydney from Wuhan this morning was infected.
We have 1 case under investigation. That number will obviously change. It may change by the time I go back to the office, and so that number will be a revolving number.
While the 1 case is under investigation, 5 other people who presented with symptoms were ruled out as having other diseases.
On Tasmania's west coast, search crews have so far found no signs of life in the collapsed area of a mine. A mine worker has been missing inside Henty Gold Mine since the early hours of this morning. Search crews have been using thermal imaging drones and a robotic camera to investigate. They've returned to the surface to review the footage but have not yet found the man. Westpac has appointed the former boss of a rival bank to be its new chairman. The details from David Chow.
John McFarlane has been picked to be the new chair of Westpac, a bank which is desperately trying to restore its reputation in light of a money laundering scandal before the courts. Mr. McFarlane has been a banker for more than 40 years, during which he was chairman of the British bank Barclays, and before that, the chief executive of ANZ. In his new role at Westpac, Mr. McFarlane's first key task will be to find a new CEO, after its last one, Brian Hartzer, was forced to step down after the financial intelligence watchdog Austrac accused the bank of breaching anti-money laundering laws 23 million times.
Jeans West will close a quarter of its stores across the country, with 263 staff to lose their jobs. The clothing chain entered voluntary administration last week, leaving nearly 1,000 jobs at risk. Today, the administrators, KPMG, said 37 Jeans West stores will close as they restructure and attempt to sell the business. To sport in tennis, the women's number 2 seed, Karolina Pliskova, is through to the 3rd round of the Australian Open in Melbourne. The Czech had an easy straight sets win over Germany's Laura Siegemund. Australia's Alex Bolt lost the first set of his match against 5th seed Dominic Thiem, but has just hit back to take the second. And earlier, Australia's Ayla Tomljanovic lost in 3 sets to 2-time Grand Slam winner Garbina Muguruza. Garbina Muguruza. It's not that hard. To Canberra's weather now, and the Bureau forecasting cloudy conditions today, windy, dust haze and the chance of a shower or storm. Total fire ban is current, and a damaging winds alert has also been issued. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a top of 29. Saturday, mostly sunny and 31, and Sunday, sunny and 34. Winds gusting at the moment to 52 kilometres an hour. The top today, 35, 7 above average. At the moment in Canberra, 29.
ABC Radio, emergency information.
Anna Vito with you, with Georgia Steins on ABC Radio Canberra this afternoon. How are you? If you're feeling a bit stressed, I understand, but don't worry, we're here with you through into the evening, and as long as we need to be, with updates on the Beard fire that's affecting areas in Oaks Estate, in Beard itself, and western parts of Queanbeyan, Crestwood especially. We're keeping you up to date with those emergency warnings as they come through, so keep listening to us here on ABC Radio Canberra. We're also keeping an eye on some of those emergency fires burning beyond our ACT borders as well in New South Wales. If you are in the areas of Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood, this is the emergency warning information that you need to know. It is unchanged, but the latest information, as of about 20 minutes ago, I'd say at this stage, the latest information is still that this fire is burning at emergency level. It is travelling in a southeasterly direction towards Beard, Harmon, Oaks Estate and Crestwood, suburb of Queanbeyan. The fire is out of control. Firefighters are on the scene, but because of the current very difficult, challenging conditions that we're seeing, this very strong winds that we're seeing across our region, that makes the fire difficult to control. So if you're in the area, you may be affected by thick smoke and embers, which will also reduce visibility and air quality. Adding to the smoke, we've had an alert that the recycling centre in Beard is on fire. So we've seen some pictures people have been sending us of very thick, very dark smoke coming from that recycling centre. If you're in those areas of Queanbeyan where you can see, smell that smoke, you're advised to get inside, close your doors and windows, turn off your air conditioning and evaporative cooling, and keep listening to us for updates and details. Also associated with this Beard fire, for people in Pielago and Brindabella Business Park, you're being advised to stay up to date and monitor conditions. Keep listening to us here on ABC Radio Canberra. Follow ACT policing directions to safely exit the area if you choose to do so, but you can stay in that location unless you're directed by ACT policing to leave. There are still a number of road closures associated with this emergency fire. I'll run through a few of those again for you now. Oaks Estate Road and Railway Street entering Oaks Estate remain closed due to bushfire. Canberra Avenue is closed in both directions near the DFO, that's the Hindmarsh Drive intersection. A number of major roads are closed around the Canberra Airport, including Pielago Avenue, Majura Avenue and Fairburn Avenue. Callers are also telling us that traffic lights are out, and in fact, traffic lights are out in a number of places around the city because there are power outages, and we'll get some more information on that in the next half hour here on ABC Radio Canberra. We have had reports from callers of traffic lights out from Hindmarsh Drive between Monero Highway and Streeton Drive at Weston. It's very heavy on the Monero Highway heading south, not least, I'm sure, due to the closure of Canberra Avenue and people trying to ferry out that other way. Elsewhere, on the northern side of our region, there's been a multi-vehicle accident on the Federal Highway near Collector, south of Goulburn. Emergency services are on the scene there, but there is low visibility from smoke. So again, flick your headlights on if you are on roads and do take extra care. As I say, Georgia Steins is also with me and she's been taking a look at some of those New South Wales fires as well. Georgia, what can you tell us?
Yeah, it is a changing situation, though, I should say that firstly for people. And just a reminder too, for those of you who were listening before, Anna went through it pretty clearly, but just a reminder that if you are near to the New South Wales border and you're concerned about fires over the border, please know that they're not in our area yet. You're not under direct threat in the ACT. But if you want the information on those, you really need to go to the New South Wales RFS website as opposed to the ESA website. But look, there are a number of fires outside our region, but very near to the ACT border. These have also been affected by the current conditions we've got, this unsettled weather and also the wind that's been happening. So I should just go through a number of those. So the fires at emergency warning that aren't too far from us or from areas that I know Canberrans go to a lot. The Big Jack Mountain Road, Rocky Hall, that's Bega Valley, that's at emergency warning. The Creewa Road, Glen Alley, Snowy Monero, that's at emergency warning today. The Adamimimi Complex bushfire in the Snowy Mountain, that's gone to emergency warning. Now the Clyde Mountain one, Eurobadalla, that's at emergency warning. And also at emergency warning in the Snowy Monero, the Eurobadalla and Bega Valley LGA sort of area is the Badger, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Forest Road. Now, if you are in any of those areas or you've got property there, if you've got friends and family, those 5 fires are all currently, according to the RFS website, at emergency warning. So I'll just go through them quickly again, but if you are affected by those or you want to find out more information, really the best spot for you to go to regarding that is to go to the New South Wales RFS website. So Adamimimi Complex fire, that is at emergency warning, and the Commissioner Georgina Whelan said they're keeping a close eye on that. So they are watching it, please be known, but it's not in the ACT at the moment. It's not in Namadgi. It is still over into New South Wales. Also Clyde Mountain, that fire emergency warning. Badger Forest Road at emergency warning. The Creewa Road, Glen Allen, that's at emergency warning, and also the Big Jack Rocky Hall Bega Valley one is also at emergency warning. If you go down to the Duns Road fire, the Snowy Valley, that's at advice. But the best spot for you really to go to if you have got friends or family in New South Wales, or you do come back and forward, is to go to the RFS website on that one.
Good point to mention, though, that if you are somehow listening to us from one of those fire-affected areas in New South Wales, you need to be listening to your local ABC. So if you're in the sort of southeast corner, you want ABC Southeast. If you're further to the western side, you probably want ABC Riverina. And then there's us, smack bang in the middle, of course, ABC Illawarra, a bit further up the coast as well.
And the other thing too, look, there's so much information around the ACT. The ABC is keeping you covered on TV, in our news bulletins, also on the ABC News website. So if you want a foot in both camps, if you're trying to cover all those fires, the news website is doing a fantastic job, and also, of course, on the Facebook page as well.
One thing I will just mention, we've had a few people getting in touch to say they're having issues with the ESA website, that it's crashed, it's come down. We've checked this out, and yes, unfortunately, the ESA is currently experiencing some difficulties with its website. It says due to a third-party service provider. What that means, in the meantime, you can stay up to date here on ABC Radio Canberra. We will bring you updates as soon and as quickly as we have them, particularly on that Beard fire in the ACT and border with Queanbeyan region. You can also stay up to date on the New South Wales RFS website and Fires Near Me app. However, I will just mention that usually, especially when the ESA website is up and running, you do want to double check alerts that you might be getting on your Fires Near Me app with the ESA website. For fires within the ACT borders, the ESA and not the RFS is the definitive source of information. So just be mindful of that. You can also follow the ESA on their various social media platforms. You can follow them on Facebook and on Twitter. And of course, keep listening to us here on ABC Radio Canberra. We're going to bring you an update, by the way, with the ACT ESA Commissioner, Georgina Whelan, very soon. We're just expecting that in the near future, Georgia.
Yeah, and the other thing too for people, if they want to keep up to date with information with regards to the ESA website having issues, we've been having them here too, but if you reload your computer, it's coming in and out. But we're going to keep across everything for you. But the press conference has got underway. We're going to bring you that very soon. They are also putting those press conferences as well up on their website, so you can rewatch it. And ABC's also been putting it on our...
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. If you are on Facebook, if you follow ABC Canberra on Facebook, we're also putting up live streaming of us talking here on the radio, but also updates with the ESA when they come too. So that's another place you can find information if you don't find yourself near a radio.
Nobody told me about the camera.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's true. I
might have brushed my hair about 3 hours ago.
No, you can't see us. You can just hear us.
Oh, that's
you can just hear us on your ABC Canberra Facebook page, which is, useful. Also, I'd love to hear how you're doing, what you're seeing, what's happening where you are. Of course, make sure you get yourself somewhere safe before you do that. But 1300 681 666 is the number to call.